Chapter 1951. What was distorted was the magnetic field, and the chaotic world made Ning Shu unable to use some auxiliary means at all. "Sure, May, it's time to hand over your paper to me," Professor Ning Shu said. As he spoke, the flesh was still peeling off, and the bloody facial bones could be seen. Ning Shu's mouth twitched. Some students have been doing something every day. They arranged it a long time ago, and it hasn't been completed yet. Professor Ning Shu grinned. Ning Shu closed her eyes and said, "I see." They were all illusory. When Ning Shu scanned with her mental strength, she found that the professor looked normal again. Her eyes had deceived her. She deeply suspected that it was the aftereffect of last night's dream. Now, everything she saw was disgusting. Ning Shu sat down. Her body was very tired and sore, but she had no energy. Listening to the professor's lullaby, Ning Shu's eyelids couldn't support her at all and she wanted to sleep. Ning Shu pinched her thigh and the pain came. After sleeping for a night, she was as tired as lying in bed for half a month. She couldn't sleep anymore. The horrifying and stimulating images in her brain would consume her energy and make her body continuously tired. However, this kind of sleepiness couldn't be resisted at all. In an instant, Ning Shu fell into darkness. After an unknown period of time, she was awakened by someone. "Sure, May, are you still sleeping? Get up." Song Emo woke Ning Shu up. Ning Shu opened her eyes and asked, "Is it over? You can really sleep. You slept from the beginning to the end." Song Emo said. The other 3 roommates were packing up. Ning Shu said, "Hurry up, there will be nothing to eat in the cafeteria later." Ning Shu felt even more tired. The more she slept, the more tired she became. It seemed that she had to stay up late to cultivate. Cultivation made her happy. When she arrived at the cafeteria, Ning Shu looked at the dishes in the basin. They were all spiders, centipedes, and big insects. What a terrible thing. Looking at the people around her eating these things, Ning Shu thought, "My eyes, something happened to her eyes. It must be." Ning Shu scanned with his spiritual force and saw normal food. It seemed that he would have to eat with his eyes closed in the future. "Shimmy, what are you doing?" Her roommate was speechless when she saw Shimmy stuffing rice into her mouth with her eyes closed. Ning Shu opened his eyes and saw the centipedes, worms, and fried scorpions on the other party's plate. He quickly closed his eyes, unable to see. This distorted magnetic field was enough to drive people crazy. If ordinary people saw things that were different from others, they would see all of them eating terrifying bugs and familiar faces grinning at them. It was simply a nightmare. Was she awake or dreaming? She couldn't tell the difference between reality and reality. She must be dreaming to see something different from others. What a familiar voice. Ning Shu had a splitting headache. What happened? His roommate asked curiously. Then, a bloodthirsty zombie staggered into the cafeteria. The people who were bitten were soon swarmed by zombies and dismembered. The 3 roommates were so scared that they held their heads and screamed. They seemed to have lost their ability to think normally. They were obviously frightened by this horrible thing. Ning Shu kicked one of them and pulled one of them with each hand. "Don't scream, run." The blue veins on Ning Shu's forehead were exposed and he felt that his head was about to explode. Ning Shu's roommate regained her senses from the kick and quickly followed Ning Shu. Running out of the cafeteria, the campus was a mess. There was blood and wandering zombies everywhere. Ning Shu didn't think about where these zombies came from. Although it was daytime, the scene of these zombies wandering around the campus, pouncing on and biting people when they see them makes people's hair stand on end. They are so horrified that they suspect that this is a dream. The zombies smelled the scent of strangers. Ning Shu and the others rushed over. Ning Shu turned out the essential bomb and sprinkled it on the zombies that rushed over, but the essential bomb has no effect. It turned into an ordinary essential bomb? Ning Shu didn't have time to think about what is going on. He could only shake off his legs and run. At this time he should ask for help. How can he beat the zombies alone? Moreover, he didn't have any weapons in his hands. One of the roommates was too tired and slowed down. He was torn apart by the zombies. Several zombies swarmed around the roommate and gnawed on his body. The other two roommates were so scared that they trembled. They didn't dare to stay and quickly ran. "Shimmy, where are we going?" The roommate gasped for breath. Ning-Shu asked. At this time, they were scared silly. Seeing Ning-Shu calm down a little, they pinned their hopes on Ning-Shu. Out of the school. Ning-Shu gritted his teeth. Subconsciously, he wanted to go to the dormitory. It seems that the dormitory is the safest place. So without logic, why is the dormitory the safest place? What Ning-Shu needs to do now is to expand the area. At night, the area was only limited to the girls' dormitory. Now the area has expanded to the whole school. This is very illogical. Obviously, the situation was so serious, but no one appeared. Only Song Imo appeared, and no school leaders appeared. And Ning-Shu was trampled to death by a huge pile of bones. When she woke up, everything was normal. It was as if she was dreaming, and now the zombies appeared. Ning-Shu was not sure if she was dreaming or awake. Or maybe it was a dream within a dream. In fact, she was still dreaming. But now the area of the dream is bigger and more vivid. There are broken limbs and school uniforms in the places she passed by. Ning-Shu saw the school gate. She pulled her two roommates and prepared to rush out of the school gate. Ning-Shu felt that her heart was about to jump out. The school gate was just a short distance away. Maybe she can get out of this situation. However, Ning-Shu stopped in her tracks because a few xenomorphs came out from the reception room next to the school gate. Oh my god! Ning-Shu quickly turned around and ran. These monsters look like dinosaurs, but they are not dinosaurs. The back of their heads is very long, and there is blood and flesh hanging from the side of their mouth. Obviously, they ate the security guards in the reception room. The speed of these aberrations was extremely fast. Ning-Shu's roommates were all bitten to death. With just one bite, their bodies were bitten into two. Because of the inertia, the lower half of their bodies actually ran for a distance before stopping. Ning-Shu ran until her lungs were about to explode. She had an incomparable headache. She could not feel the existence of her legs. She can only rely on her instincts to keep running. Why are these things getting more and more terrifying? Every time is more and more frightening. If this continues, her mind will definitely collapse. Is someone creating a dream for her? If they want to create a dream, they should create a warm dream. Why is it always this kind of nightmare? There was definitely some deep hatred between them. When a person is stimulated too much, they will lose control of their emotions. Their mind will be in chaos. If they are not crazy, they will become stupid. Chapter 1952. Ning-Shu ran towards the dormitory as if his life depended on it. In his subconscious mind, the dormitory was the safest place. God knows where this subconscious thought came from. The xenomorphs saw a new target and split up to hunt. One of them chased after Ning-Shu. Ning-Shu held the essential bomb tightly in his hand, but it seemed like the essential bomb was no longer effective. It must be because the essential bomb was too powerful. It was like a boss. Of course, this place was full of boss. The essential bomb's boss was the most obvious, but it no longer existed. Ning-Shu looked at the xenomorph that was getting closer and closer. He stopped in his tracks and waited for death. Why don't you fucking bite me to death? I want to see what you can do to me. Let's see what I look like when I wake up. The xenomorph opened its mouth and bit Ning-Shu. Suddenly, a person rushed over and pushed Ning-Shu to the ground, avoiding the xenomorph's attack. Ning-Shu was pushed to the ground and his body was about to fall apart. Then he was dragged away. Ning-Shu looked at Song Imo, who was wearing a white turtleneck sweater, dragging him towards the dormitory. When the xenomorph saw that its prey was gone, it roared angrily and moved its feet. The whole ground shook because of the xenomorphs running. There was a xenomorph chasing from behind and a zombie in front. There were pursuers in front and behind. Ning-Shu reacted at this time. He must endure, because if he was really eaten by the xenomorph this time, then what would be waiting for him next time? Ning-Shu ran very fast. At the beginning, Song Imo was dragging Ning-Shu, but now it was Ning-Shu who was dragging him. Song Imo was a little confused. Ning Shu put his hand on Song Mo's shoulder and used the force to support his body. He kicked the zombie in front of him and then dragged Song Mo towards the female dormitory. Along the way, there were broken limbs and bones everywhere. Some of the internal organs were still steaming. Ning Shu felt a little nauseous. After coming to this world, Ning Shu already knew that this world should be an illusion or a dream. The client's situation should not be too good. This was to trap people in such a terrifying atmosphere. If it wasn't for Ning Shu's tenacious will, he would have been tortured to the point of insanity. However, according to where she was, this place was very real. Therefore, the client should be a modern person and a university student. Even if he was no longer in school, he must have studied in this school. Ning Shu's brain was about to explode, but when she reached the dormitory, the door was already closed. She couldn't enter at all. Moreover, there were a lot of zombies blocking the iron gate. They wanted to squeeze in through the gaps of the iron gate, but it was difficult to do so. Fuck, what should I do now? Also, the zombies that had been banging on the door smelled the scent of humans and turned around to chase after Ning Shu and Song Mo run. Ning Shu and Song Mo ran around the school like mad dogs. We have to find a place to hide. We can't run around like this. Our physical strength is not enough, and it's too dangerous. Ning Shu dragged Song Mo to the school's laboratory. This place was hidden, and they might be able to find some weapons. Song Mo was being dragged around by a girl who was shorter than him by a head. This feeling was a little complicated. Ning Shu bent down, found the key in the classroom office, and opened the laboratory. The laboratory was very big. There were all kinds of equipment, water tanks, microscopes, and cutting tools. Ning Shu quickly put away the cutting tools and opened the cabinet to look at some chemicals. Of course, some of the more dangerous things were put away by the school. Now, these things were all harmless chemicals. Ning Shu sat on the ground, gasping for breath. He felt that his heart was about to explode. Ning Shu looked at Song Mo, who was sitting next to him. This guy really had a lot of scenes. Ning Shu jokingly said, "I didn't expect you to be so strong when you usually look so weak." This is the pressure of survival. Under the threat of death, people can burst out with several times the strength. Song Mo gasped for breath. His white turtleneck sweater was very dirty. Song Mo really liked white turtleneck sweaters. This kind of sweater, if worn well, would be artistic. If not, would be a mongrel. Song Mo's temperament was not bad. At least, he would not wear it like a mongrel. Ning Shu rubbed his head and asked, "What major did I study?" A lot of things are vague. Although there is my consciousness, I am very vague. Song Mo looked at Ning Shu in surprise. Are you scared out of your wits? You don't even know what your major is? Then what class did you study? Ning Shu raised the corner of his mouth. Then what did I study? Pharmaceuticals, Song Mo said. What about you? Ning Shu asked again, what did you study? Biopharmaceutical. Although Song Mo was puzzled why Ning Shu would ask him this, he still answered honestly. It sounded similar, so there was nothing wrong with them taking the same professor's class in the same classroom. At this moment, Ning Shu's limbs were weak, and his body was weak. His body was shaking uncontrollably. This was because he had used too much strength. The whole laboratory was silent, except for the sound of Ning Shu and Song Mo's breathing. The glass blocked out the sound outside. Beep beep beep. There was the sound of water dripping. Ning Shu and Song Mo looked at each other, and Ning Shu asked, "Do you hear anything?" "I think so." Ning Shu stood up and saw that all the faucets in the laboratory were splashing out bright red viscous liquid. It was extremely stinky. The liquid filled the sink and overflowed from the sink. Ning Shu was confused. Why is this stuff flowing out? And who turned on the faucet? Is there a ghost in this room? Moreover, the red liquid was also corrosive. It sizzled and produced poisonous gas that made people dizzy when they smelled it. Ning Shu and Song Mo flowed over in waves. Ning Shu covered his nose and quickly opened the door, but the door could not be opened. It could not be opened. The red liquid flowed to their feet and corroded Ning Shu and Song Mo's shoes. The shoes sizzled, and Ning Shu immediately felt the soles of his feet burning. It was a burning pain. Ning Shu tapped with his finger, trying to see if he could use the law of water, but it was useless. This distorted magnetic field and full of loopholes could not even be considered a world, so how could there be any law? Song Mo endured the pain of corrosion and picked up a chair to smash the glass of the window. The glass shattered, and fresh air rushed in, blowing away the poisonous gas in the air. Song Mo stood on the bench and flipped over the window. Then Ning Shu reached out his hand. "Hurry, I'll pull you." Song Mo's expression was anxious and a little twisted. But all the red liquid in the room surged toward Ning Shu, and huge water columns rushed toward Ning Shu. Chapter 1953. If Ning Shu was hit by this smelly, corrosive liquid, even his bones would be corroded and become part of the liquid, adding to the energy of this liquid. Ning Shu could already feel that there was an evil spirit in this energy. It should have corroded other people in the past. Was this real or virtual? Ning Shu was confused again. The disgusting poisonous gas made Ning Shu weak all over. Ning Shu stepped on the chair, grabbed Song Mo's hand, and flipped out of the window. Ouch! Song Mo was pinned down by Ning Shu. He was in so much pain that he couldn't stop breathing. The ground was covered with glass shards. Ning Shu shook his head. He was in pain and dizzy. He had inhaled the poisonous gas and was seeing double. "Are you okay?" Ning Shu asked Song Mo. Ning Shu got up from Song Mo's body. Looking at Song Mo, he suddenly had the urge to kiss him. Kiss him. Ning Shu was speechless. What was he doing at a time like this? Ning Shu blinked and looked at Song Mo. Song Mo frowned. Seeing Ning Shu staring at him, he smiled. Ning Shu quickly shook his head. Was this a romantic trend? Song Mo reached out and grabbed the back of Ning Shu's head. He pressed Ning Shu's head down. Song Mo raised his head and kissed Ning Shu. Ning Shu's heart was pounding. He felt as if he was lying on clouds. It was soft and he didn't feel like he was on solid ground. This dream was a little charming. Ning Shu couldn't even control his body. He watched as Song Mo's lips came closer and closer. He could feel his hot breath with the smell of hormones. Ning Shu was speechless. "Oh ha!" Ning Shu let out a strange laugh from his throat. Song Mo. The corners of Song Mo's mouth twitched as he released Ning Shu. Ning Shu got up from Song Mo's body and took off his corroded shoes. His skin and shoes were stuck together, and it was extremely painful to pull them off. He pulled out the tender meat. It was really crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, fresh and delicious. Song Mo came out first. Although his feet were not corroded, his back was pierced by glass shards. "Don't move. I'll help you get the fragments out," Ning Shu said. Song Mo stared at Ning Shu, nodded, and turned around. Ning Shu looked at the fragments and took out a knife from the laboratory to help remove the fragments. Song Mo was in so much pain that his face contorted. He clenched his fists tightly. Ning Shu carefully removed the shards and said, "Should we escape from the school?" If he continued to endure like this, he would only be waiting for death. Something like this should be dealt with weapons of mass destruction. Although Ning Shu said that he wanted to leave the school, he knew that he might not be able to get out at all. Song Mo's forehead was covered in sweat. He wiped the sweat that was about to drip into his eyes and said, "I don't know if we can escape. Let's go to the headmaster's office." Ning Shu looked at his bloody feet. Every step he took was like walking on a steel knife, and it was the edge of the knife. Running to the headmaster's office? Could it be that he was an Ultraman who could deal with all these demons and ghosts? Previously, there was an essential bomb, but now there was nothing. After staying here for a long time, Ning Shu felt the distortion of time and space. He also felt dazed because he could not tell whether it was reality or reality. This was a very dangerous and painful thing because there was a problem with the mind. It confused reality and illusion. Ning Shu suspected that she would have to stay in this twisted place for the rest of her life, being tortured by this horrible thing day and night. Then he would lose his mind and become a lunatic. Is it useful to find the headmaster? Ning Shu asked Song Mo, "Are you afraid?" "Of course I am. Everyone wants to live. Don't worry, I will protect you." Ning Shu said, "Song, trust me, we will definitely survive." What was with this conversation between the male and female lead of a disaster movie? Ning Shu asked Song Mo, "Why do you think these monsters appeared, and they all appeared in the school? Are there monsters running rampant outside the school? What has our world become? These monsters should only appear in the school." The situation outside the school was a fog because it had not evolved at all. Song Mo frowned. "I don't know. The most important thing for us now is to find the headmaster and ask him for help from the people outside." Ning Shu retorted, "The school is in such a big commotion. Does the headmaster not know?" The school was in chaos. The students were all bitten to death by monsters, but the headmaster did not know. Therefore, there was no logic at all. It was completely ridiculous. Perhaps the headmaster himself had not evolved. This was a virtual world. The magnetic field was chaotic and unstable. It was even woven by someone. Perhaps it was the consciousness world of the person who sent it. No matter how unreasonable and ridiculous it was, even if there was no way to explain it, it could be explained. "Why do we have to find the headmaster?" Ning Shu asked Song Mo again. Could it be that there was a side mission? Song Mo rubbed his eyebrows and looked at Ning Shu. "Other than finding the headmaster, what else can we do? Are we going to wait for death here?" Ning Shu felt that Song Mo was very irritated. He only said, "I'm not going. My feet hurt. Moreover, monsters are chasing me everywhere. Even if I die, let me rest." Song Mo looked at Ning Shu's bloody feet and said, "I'll carry you." "No need. Your back is full of wounds. It's torture for me to press on your back. Moreover, you can't run fast with me on your back. These monsters are very fast. Except for the zombies. But who knew if the zombies would suddenly mutate? Anyway, anything was possible here. Then we're going to wait for death here?" Song Mo was a little irritated. Finally, Ning Shu said, "I feel that the world we're in is not right." Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. "Why do you think so?" "I don't know. In short, it feels unreal. If we want to leave, maybe the headmaster will have a way?" Song Mo said, "It's better to act than to wait for death here." Song Mo squatted down and let Ning Shu climb on his back. Ning Shu thought for a moment. He endured the pain in his feet and climbed on Song Mo's back. Song Mo hissed. Obviously, Ning Shu touched the wound on his back and it hurt a little. Song Mo stood up with his hands on the wall. He held Ning Shu's feet and started to go downstairs to the administration building. But the university campus was too big. From here to the administration building, they had to pass through the field and the tree-lined path. Damn, it's a big field. Moreover, there were wandering zombies everywhere. The most speechless thing was that there were man-eating flowers on the playground. Even if zombies got close to the man-eating flowers, the man-eating flowers would swallow the zombies in one bite and chew on them. Ning Shu was speechless. Plants versus zombies. Chapter 1954. Seeing such a thing, Ning Shu's heart did not waver. No matter what happened now, Ning Shu's heart was very calm. After all, this was a place where anything would appear. At this time, there should be pea shooters. The man-eating flower reproduced very quickly. Soon, a bud would break out of the ground and quickly grow into a beautiful man-eating flower. Then, it would chomp on any creature that passed by it. At this rate, the entire school would become the world of man-eating flowers. Song Mo looked at these man-eating flowers and felt a little nervous. She said, "How did these things appear?" Ning Shu held a knife in his hand and asked, "Are we going to find the principal?" Ning Shu felt that it was useless to find the principal, but Song Mo wanted to go. The reason was to let the principal ask for help from the outside world. In this illusion, this school was the entire world. Who could they ask for help from? Ning Shu felt that it was useless even if they found the principal. Who knew, the principal might be the Demon King. Everything in this school was created by him. Anyway, it was a dream. Anything could happen. It was not that Ning Shu did not want to go, but he did not want to do meaningless things. However, Song Mo insisted on going. She endured the pain of her wound and carried Ning Shu on her back to find the principal. "Put me down," Ning Shu said. "I feel like there are not many people left in this school." These man-eating flowers appeared to clean up the battlefield and absorb the nutrients of the corpses. And they looked scary. Why did you appear last night? Ning Shu asked softly. What last night? Song Mo asked in confusion. Oh, that was her dream. Song Mo appeared in her dream. Song Mo should not know. She was still in the illusion of the dreamland. Nothing. Ning Shu looked at his feet and thought about how to break through the current situation. It was endless. Was she going to get lost? Song Mo and Ning Shu did not speak. It was very quiet. There were man-eating flowers everywhere, swaying in the wind. It felt like only the two of them were left in the world. Song Mo didn't insist on looking for the headmaster. At this time, finding the headmaster was already a problem. It wasn't easy to pass through a sea of man-eating flowers. In an instant, it was chewed up by the man-eating flowers. Song Mo looked at Ning Shu helplessly. Sigh, it looks like the chances of us surviving are very, very low. Even if it's a movie, there should at least be 1 or 2 survivors. After experiencing this and then cherishing life, living happily together and having 2 more children, this is the rhythm of a team wipe. Ning Shu was speechless. What was he going to do if he didn't have the protagonist's aura? Was he going to live happily ever after? Was he going to treat this as a fairy tale? According to normal logic, a superhero should not appear at this time to save the students in dire straits. However, he did not appear, so there was no hope for a happy life. Ning Shu chuckled. Song Mo's stomach growled, and so did Ning Shu's. Ning Shu propped up his chin and looked at the man-eating flowers. They had sharp teeth and were drooling. It looked very ferocious. Its appetite is really good. It will eat as long as it's flesh. Then let's find something to eat? Song Mo said. There's a supermarket in the school. Why don't we go there? Yes, but we still have to pass through the field. Ning Shu said with a smile. Song Mo looked around to see if he could find a weapon to deal with these terrifying things. Ning Shu had a knife in his hand, but it was more like a dagger or a pair of scissors. As long as he approached the man-eating flowers, the man-eating flowers would swallow anyone who came close. Moreover, the saliva was extremely corrosive. A person would quickly be corroded beyond recognition. It was really getting worse. This was forcing people to die. Sooner or later, they wouldn't be able to take it. How could they return to the real world? Even if this was real, and the body's senses, pain, taste, touch, and smell were all normal, this random and nonsensical world was simply illusory. Song Mo was suddenly overwhelmed by a huge mosquito that jumped out from the tree. This mosquito was very big, like a strong fighting bull. Using its long straw, it almost instantly sucked Song Mo's flesh and blood clean. Even the bones were gone, leaving only a soft piece of skin lying on the ground. Ning Shu stepped back and looked at the huge mosquito. His face twitched. Ning Shu didn't expect the mosquito to become so big. Usually, mosquitoes were a little bit big. Now that it had become so big, it was too scary. Everything was clearly visible, including the mosquito's 6 blood-sucking straws. The mosquito finished sucking Song Mo, who was still very alive before, was now only a piece of human skin. The mosquito's buzzing sound was also amplified. It was like a demon sound, buzzing, 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 buzzing. The huge mosquito flew towards Ning Shu. Ning Shu turned around and ran wildly. In the end, he was caught by the mosquito. The straw pierced into his skin. His skin swelled as if something was injected into his skin. Immediately, it began to itch violently. There was also the pain of a large amount of blood flowing out. His whole body was constantly convulsing. There was no pain. Even his bones began to melt. It was itchy, painful, and cold. Pa! Ning Shu suddenly heard a sound in his ear, slapping him in the face. Ning Shu, who was in a daze, suddenly stood up, panting heavily. He clutched his heart. His heart was beating very fast, as if his heart was about to explode. It was also very painful. His whole body was dripping with sweat. Because he got up too fast, now Ning Shu's head was very dizzy. Everyone in the classroom looked at Ning Shu, who suddenly stood up on the podium. The professor looked at Ning Shu expressionlessly. What are you doing? Ning Shu looked around in confusion. Wasn't this the classroom? Could it be that what happened before was a dream? Was it a dream he had after falling asleep? Some people just don't talk about it. Is my lecture really so boring? I asked you to sleep from the beginning to the end. Sleep is fine, but now you have to disturb other students. The professor was very dissatisfied with Ning Shu. Ning Shu was still standing there like a fool. Why aren't you sitting down? Do you have any comments on what I'm saying? Ning Shu sat down in a daze. Song Imo, who was behind him, used a pen to poke Ning Shu's back. Ning Shu looked back at him weakly. What are you doing? Song Imo stretched out his hand. In his palm was a mosquito that had been slapped to death, and it was a mosquito that had drunk blood. You fell asleep. A mosquito stung your face, Song Imo said softly. Ning Shu, could it be that he had a dream of a huge mosquito because his face was stung by a mosquito? Ning Shu rubbed his eyebrows. His whole body was sore and his mouth was dry. The person who died before came back to life again? He couldn't even figure out what was going on. Ning Shu's mind was a little confused. Chapter 1955. Ning Shu could no longer make sense of the current situation. Was she in an illusion, a dream, or a dream? 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 These people could be reborn indefinitely, just like NPCs in games. If you killed her this time, the next time you came, she would still be alive, but the scene and events would be different. Ning Shu's mind was in a mess, and she felt like she was in a space-time disorder. Her body was exhausted, and she felt like she had been cultivating for half a month without sleep. She felt like she was about to break down. Her head hurt. It was so painful that she felt like she was going to die. Ning Shu took out a bottle of water from her bag and gulped down half a bottle. Her heart was about to jump out. Shimmy, your face is green. What's wrong? Song Imo asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu said, It's nothing. I just didn't rest well. Thinking of her dream where Song Imo was sucked dry by a giant mosquito, it was horrifying. Now that she saw Song Imo in good condition, wearing a clean white sweater, fresh and warm, Ning Shu couldn't help but fall into a trance. She kept feeling like she was floating, and this feeling was really fucking uncomfortable. Ning Shu's heart was burning with anger. This was deliberately torturing her, deliberately. No one would be able to stand such a long period of fear. Ning Shu took the essential bomb and sniffed it. The cool smell made Ning Shu's head feel slightly better. Ning Shu felt dizzy, and she felt like she was having a heat stroke. In short, Ning Shu felt that if her body continued like this, she would definitely not be able to take it. Ning Shu felt very hungry now, very hungry. She did not eat breakfast and woke up for class. Song Imo seemed to have given her a hamburger, but the hamburgers seemed to have maggots. Was it a dream or was it real? Ning Shu couldn't figure it out. Ning Shu secretly took out a biscuit from her bag. When she chewed on the biscuit, Ning Shu felt that the biscuit was tasteless, and her taste buds were dull. She was too tired and had no appetite. Her taste buds were very dull. Ning Shu didn't want to eat, but he was hungry. When he ate, his stomach started to hurt. Ning Shu didn't feel too good. This was the most troublesome problem she had encountered. It seemed that the client was trapped in such a consciousness, repeating all kinds of exciting and unexpected things over and over again. It was extremely bloody and exciting, and it would not stop until it drove the client crazy. Ning Shu looked at his hand. His skin had turned green, and his blood vessels were obvious. His fingers looked very thin. She must have lost weight. All girls wanted to lose weight. But he didn't expect her to be so thin. He was going to be traumatized. After eating the biscuits, Ning Shu's stomach hurt. He was probably too hungry and his stomach couldn't take it anymore. In the end, Ning Shu couldn't take it anymore. He stood up and said to the professor, I want to use the toilet. The professor was interrupted and his expression turned ugly. However, when he saw Ning Shu's expression, he could only agree in the end. Ning Shu was in so much pain that his face turned ugly. He went to the toilet. When he reached the toilet cubicle, he squatted down and pooped out blood. It was sticky and dark red. Ning Shu raised his eyebrows and wiped it with a tissue. He pooped blood. There must be something wrong with his organs. Could it be that his body was suffering from too much mental stress? But he didn't have a physical body now. She was at most his consciousness now. It must be his period. But it was gushing out like a prolapse. There was even a section of his intestines. Ning Shu was speechless. Again and again, ruthless. Ning Shu felt that his consciousness was starting to blur. Was he dreaming again? Ning Shu pinched his arm and broke it. Water mixed with dark red blood flowed out, bringing with it the stench of microbes. Ning Shu was speechless. So this body was a corpse? She had reincarnated in a corpse? Ning Shu couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. The feeling of space-time chaos was even more obvious. This body was dead. He dreamed that he was dead. His body was naked. The previous feeling of exhaustion was because his body had stopped functioning? How interesting. Let's see what will happen next time. Ning Shu wiped his hands with a tissue, pulled up his pants, and washed his hands. The faint stench of a corpse lingered at the tip of his nose. Ning Shu lifted his collar and sniffed. Indeed, there was the stench of a corpse. Ning Shu looked at his face in the mirror. His face was pale and a little green. His lips were colorless. Didn't he look like a corpse? Although he didn't know the reason, Ning Shu didn't want to be treated as a monster. He was a walking aphrodisiac. She was now a walking corpse. Ning Shu took out some powder and patted it on her face. Then she applied some lipstick. She also applied some powder on her exposed skin, such as her hands and arms. She applied some blush to make them look rosier and better. The fact that he was a corpse was a rather horrifying thing in itself. Ning Shu touched his chest. His heart was no longer beating. The thundering feeling from before could no longer be felt. Ning Shu didn't go to class. Instead, he returned to the dormitory. He closed the door and scanned his body with his spiritual force. His internal organs were beginning to tremble. Ning Shu put his hand in front of his mouth. He took a breath and smelled it. There was a stench of urine. Not long after, her sense of smell should also disappear. Several roommates who returned to the dormitory after class opened the door and smelled a stench. They quickly covered their noses. What is this? Shermei, what did you do? It's so smelly. One of his roommates, Ning Shu, said. Ning Shu, was it that smelly? Sure enough, her sense of smell had disappeared a lot. She only smelled a little, but her roommates couldn't stand it. It should be very smelly. Yeah, I've always felt that there was something smelly in the dormitory. It's particularly smelly today. Another roommate said, looking at Ning Shu, Shermei, are you playing a prank? It's too smelly. Ning Shu opened the window to let the smell dissipate a little. The three roommates were very dissatisfied. Ning Shu climbed into his bed and covered his body with a quilt, hoping that the stench could be blocked. In fact, it was useless. His body was covered by the quilt, but it was very fast. Ning Shu scratched his head in distress and scratched a handful of hair. When the hair was pulled off, it was wet and smelly. Ning Shu stuffed the hair into the quilt and took out his mobile phone. He looked for the contacts in the mobile phone and prepared to call his parents. Ning Shu can only expand the dream now. He has been in school all the time. In such a big place, if more people appear, then the dreamer will be more difficult and he will have to work hard to outline the parents of this body. Chapter 1956. Is there a dead rat in the dormitory? It's really smelly. One of the roommates said. He covered his nose and took out some perfume from his suitcase and sprayed it everywhere. However, the smell made them feel even more dizzy, and they almost vomited. His roommates were looking for dead rats everywhere. Ning Shu was speechless. This feeling was slightly embarrassing. It was even more embarrassing than letting out a smelly fart in the elevator. Ning Shu found his parents' contact and called them. At first, no one picked up. Ning Shu was a little disappointed. It seemed like this dream was limited to the school. When he called again, a man picked up the phone. Ning Shu was delighted. Although there was no heartbeat, Ning Shu still felt his heart beating faster. Dad, I'm sick. I want to go home. Come and pick me up from school. It's very serious, the man on the other end of Ningshu said. What's wrong? What happened? The man's voice sounded very anxious, but it sounded slightly fake. There was an element of acting in it. Ningshu hesitated for a moment and said, I'm sick. I've been sick for a while and I'm not getting better. I want to go home and see a doctor. I want to go to a big hospital for a checkup to see what's wrong with my body. Okay, I'll come over immediately with your mom. The other side hung up the phone. Ningshu listened to the beeping sound from the phone. The three roommates were still looking for the dead rat because the smell was really too smelly. Ningshu covered his head with the blanket and wrapped himself tightly. He was lying to himself that he could get away with it. This feeling was really unbearable. When a person realized that they were different from others, the fear and panic, the fear of being discovered, the fear of not daring to face other people's strange gazes was indescribable. Especially when he realized that he was a corpse. He was dead. Wow, so scary. It was only because this body's physiological functions had stopped. It wasn't that scary. Ningshu only felt that this body was very troublesome. What if someone found out that he was cremated? Then he would be burned as a monster? Mentally tired without explaining. He felt that some people really knew how to play. They would do whatever they could to provoke him. He asked if it was exciting. Anyway, it had already stimulated Ningshu to the point that his heart had stopped beating. Ningshu wanted his parents to pick him up and leave the school as soon as possible. He hoped that he could leave the school smoothly. There was no point in hiding in the dormitory. Sooner or later he would find out about the stench on her. Ningshu wrapped himself in a big blanket and left the dormitory under the strange gazes of his roommates. Of course, as soon as Ningshu moved, the smell that he had been hiding under the blanket also spread out, almost making his roommates faint. Ningshu wrapped himself in a blanket and ran as fast as he could. Wherever he went, people would faint from the smell. Ningshu ran to the flower bed at the school gate and waited for his parents. Of course, he would hide in a more secluded place. However, no matter how long she waited, her parents were nowhere to be seen. She took out her phone to call them, but she couldn't get through no matter how many times she tried. It seemed like she couldn't come. She couldn't leave this school. Ningshu looked at the school gate. He couldn't just walk out like this. What was there to worry about? Ningshu put powder on his body to cover the pale areas and sprayed half a bottle of perfume on himself. Ningshu's biggest wish now was to rush out of the school and this strange place. Perhaps he could break this situation. Ningshu moved his neck and prepared to leave the school. Then he realized that his neck was crooked and couldn't be fixed. Ningshu had no choice but to straighten his head. This was a little awkward. Ningshu didn't do any warm-up exercises. His body couldn't take it anymore. Perhaps when the muscles in his body rotted, he wouldn't even be able to support his body. Ningshu walked to the school gate. There were people coming and going at the school gate. Some went in and some went out. It looked very real. Hey, where are you going? I bought something. Let's eat together. Song Emo carried a plastic bag with a disposable lunchbox in it. He probably went out to buy something. Ningshu pretended not to see him and walked past him. Song Emo was a little surprised and grabbed Ningshu. Ningshu wanted to pull his hand back, but his arm was broken. It was broken. The broken limb was in Song Mo's hand. Song Emo looked at his arm in a daze and then looked at Ningshu. He was so shocked that he was speechless. It was too strange. Song Emo felt that Ningshu was playing a prank. Ningshu, I just wanted to get out of the school. The surrounding people were stunned. Some girls held their heads and screamed. Some even vomited from the stench. I. Song Emo grabbed Ningshu's arm and didn't know what to do. Seeing Ningshu's expressionless face, he bravely stuffed his arm into Ningshu's arms. I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. Song Emo almost vomited from the stench of the corpse on Ningshu's body. He almost vomited, but he still asked, "What's wrong with you?" Seeing Song Mo's twisted face and how he couldn't cover his nose, Ningshu felt a little guilty. Ningshu ignored Song Emo and walked toward the school gate. He felt like a world champion who was about to reach the finish line. He was excited, excited and nervous. However, the gate closed with a crash. Ning Shu was pulled back. What the fuck? No one could stop her from flying. Ning Shu couldn't get out. She swung her good arm and threw the severed arm out. The severed arm flew over the gate and landed outside the school with a thud. Of course, Ning Shu's other arm was also crippled. He used too much strength and it hung limply by his side. She's a monster. The surrounding students screamed and threw things in their hands at Ning Shu. Some male students came over with brooms. Song Emo stood in front of Ning Shu and said, "You run first. I'll hold him back." "Brother, you have too many scenes to play." Ning Shu couldn't help but say. Song Mo's expression was confused. He didn't know what Ning Shu was talking about. At this time, the other party was still talking nonsense. It made the anxious Song Emo feel quite helpless. Ning Shu was now an armless woman. When she ran, she couldn't keep her balance. She planted her face on the ground. The skin on her face had been scraped and scraped, but there wasn't much bleeding. Most of the bleeding was caused by the swelling of the tissues in her body. Her skin was pale. Ning Shu didn't feel anything when the broom hit the ground. It didn't hurt at all. With a plop, Ning Shu suddenly felt that his internal organs had shifted. He opened his eyes and found himself lying on the floor of the dormitory. She rolled off the bed. "Shimmy, you've been really busy all night. You've been moving and talking in your sleep. What are you doing?" The three roommates sat up and rubbed their eyes. Chapter 1957. Ning Shu rolled down from the bed. Fortunately, she dragged the blanket down with her, so she didn't feel much pain. She got up from the ground and placed the blanket on the bed. "Sorry, my body isn't feeling well. I had a nightmare." Ning Shu climbed onto the bed and said to her roommate, "What nightmare? I think you had a wet dream. You kept calling Song Emo. Please stop abusing single dogs." Her roommate said helplessly, "Please consider the feelings of us single dogs. Is showing affection the most harmful thing to do?" Her roommate complained about Ning Shu. Ning Shu was speechless. She was the abused single dog. Since when did she abuse others? "What do you mean?" Ning Shu was confused. She and Song Emo were a couple? Now she had returned to reality. Ning Shu pinched her arm. It hurt so much that there was a red mark. Did she really return to reality? Did she really return? However, Ning Shu felt that it was unrealistic. It was a feeling of space-time chaos. She couldn't tell the difference between reality and dreams. Ning Shu took out the essential balm under her pillow and smelled it. The cool feeling made her head feel better. Ning Shu started to practice her ultimate martial arts. If this world was normal, then she could cultivate. If it was a virtual and distorted world, then she wouldn't be able to obtain energy. Ning Shu cultivated for a while and found that there was a small amount of spiritual energy in her dantian. It was so small that she couldn't see it with her inner vision. However, she could feel that her body was more comfortable. Did she really return to reality? Ning Shu looked at her watch. It was 6:00 in the morning. The sky was still dark in winter. Ning Shu got up and washed up. At the same time, she wanted to see if she could bump into a ghost. Ning Shu was now taking the initiative to bump into a ghost to test her idea. Ning Shu took the basin to the bathroom and squatted down to see if a female ghost would reach out and scratch her butt. Some students had already woken up. There were sounds of washing and talking in the bathroom. Ning Shu pursed his lips. It seemed that the chances of encountering a ghost were not very high. Ning Shu used the cold water to wash his face. It was so cold that it could freeze a person to death. After washing up, Ning Shu squatted in the toilet. He squatted there for a while, but no one scratched him. I actually feel a little disappointed. As expected, he couldn't believe that he had woken up just like that. When he returned to the dormitory, his phone vibrated and buzzed. Ning Shu quickly took the phone and looked at the caller ID. It was Song Emo. He called her early in the morning. Ning Shu picked up the phone and heard Song Mo's voice. It was clear and warm, similar to what Ning Shu had heard in his dream. "I'm downstairs. I bought breakfast and came down to eat," Song Emo said. When Ning Shu heard this, he looked down the window. Song Imo raised his head and looked at Ning Shu's dormitory window. He lifted the bag in his hand. Ning Shu put on his down jacket. When he went out, he closed the door and ran downstairs. Song Imo was wearing a white turtleneck sweater and a long scarf. He was a warm guy. Ning Shu walked over. Song Imo took the scarf from his hand and wrapped it around Ning Shu's neck. The scarf still had Song Mo's body temperature. It was very warm. "You're here so early?" Ning Shu said. Song Imo carried the things to a pavilion not far from the dormitory. There was a man-made lake beside the pavilion. There were willow trees beside the lake. It was winter, so the willow trees did not have a single leaf. Song Imo passed the steaming hot buns to Ning Shu. "You have to eat breakfast. Otherwise, your stomach won't be able to take it. Your stomach has always been bad because you are not allowed to eat 3 meals. You are full and hungry. Even if your body is made of iron, it won't be able to take it," Song Imo chattered on. Ning Shu thought about how his stomach hurt from eating biscuits in his dream. He guessed that there was something wrong with his body. Dreams were subconscious. Ning Shu nodded. He chewed on the bun and looked at Song Imo. Was it because the client and Song Imo were boyfriend and girlfriend? That was why Song Imo had more scenes in the dream than she did and could appear at any time. "What's wrong?" Song Imo saw Ning Shu staring at him and touched his face. "Is there eye booger? I remember washing my face." Ning Shu chuckled. "No, it's very clean." What an awkward conversation. It was awkward the whole time. Ning Shu asked Song Imo, "What's our relationship? I got out of bed to buy you breakfast on such a cold day. What do you think our relationship is?" Song Imo looked at Ning Shu and said, "Then I can also get out of bed to buy breakfast for you." Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. "Does this explain our relationship?" "All right, I'm your boyfriend. We have been dating for 2 months. You were the one who confessed to me." I reluctantly agreed. Song Imo said. Ning Shu swallowed the bun in his mouth. "I chased after you?" "Yes." Song Imo said with a smile. "Was that so?" It was rare that no demons or ghosts appeared for such a long time. It was very peaceful and normal. Ning Shu was not used to it. This kind of peace made Ning Shu feel very uneasy. Could it be that he had really gone crazy and could not distinguish between reality and dreams? Ning Shu ate his bun and did not speak to Song Imo. The atmosphere was inexplicably awkward. Song Imo saw Ning Shu eating a bun in each hand and gave the food to Ning Shu. Ning Shu shook his head. "You eat too. You don't have to give it to me." Chewing in his mouth, the taste felt very real. Could it be that it was so easy for him to return to reality? If that was the case, why didn't 2333 tell him to leave? Could it be that there was still something unresolved in reality? There were many things in Ning Shu's mind that were a mess. "What are you thinking about?" Song Imo patted Ning Shu's head. It was very light and affectionate. Ning Shu asked again, "Was it really me who chased after you?" "Of course. Although I'm not the most handsome guy in school, I'm still the most handsome guy in the department. If you didn't beg me and say that you couldn't leave me, how could I have agreed?" These words were just taken as a joke. He was most likely bragging. Ning Shu gave him face and replied with an "oh," ending this awkward topic. Ning Shu had a lot of doubts about this boyfriend of Song Imo. He was afraid she was still in a dream. Only this time, it was a warm and romantic love story. It was always exciting. Don't make people go crazy. Give her some soothing flavor and then some heavy flavor. With this kind of stimulation and torment, she would definitely go crazy. Ning Shu stared silently at Song Imo, who was wearing a turtleneck sweater. He was so dramatic. This person was definitely related to the client. Even if it was subconsciously, this guy would appear at any time. Who knew where he came from? Sorry, he was suspicious of Song Imo, who liked to wear turtleneck sweaters. Besides, the season here was only winter. Back and forth, the weather did not change at all. Autumn would be better. Chapter 1958. The two of them ate slowly, looking at the white fog floating on the artificial lake. It was hazy, but it was beautiful. Ning Shu pinched herself. It hurt. Ning Shu wanted to pinch Song Emo to see if it hurt. I feel like you're not awake yet? Ning Shu said to Song Emo. Song Emo? What? Song Emo looked at Ning Shu in confusion. Why do I feel like you're different? You're a little weird. I'm awake, but you're not. Song Emo reached out and rubbed Ning Shu's head, messing up Ning Shu's hair fringe. Ning Shu looked up and combed her hair. This kind of fringe was hard to do. Thank you for breakfast. I'll treat you next time. Ning Shu stood up and prepared to rush out of the school gate. She wanted to let loose. If the structure of the dream was too big, she might not be able to support it. This way, she could wake up. Ning Shu had always wanted to leave the school because the structure of this world was always in the school. If she went out and couldn't build the structure of the outside world, the whole dream might be shattered. You're leaving just like that? Song Emo looked at Ning Shu. Where are you going? I have something to do. Ning Shu said. Call me. Song Emo put the plastic bag in the trash can by the roadside. Where are you going? I'll accompany you. I'm just going to walk around. Ning Shu said with a smile. If Song Emo hadn't stopped her last time, she would have rushed out of the school. She only threw her broken arm out of the school gate, but it was useless. Song Emo walked in front of Ning Shu. There was a warm feeling mixed with the cold winter air. It entered her nose together with the smell of soap and detergent. Song Mo's image was the perfect image of a girl's first love. He was polite, gentle, and looked like a good boy. Where are you going? I'll go with you. Song Emo looked down at Ning Shu and said. Ning Shu smiled. No need. I'm just going out to buy some girly things. You don't have to accompany me. It doesn't matter. I can accompany you. It's human nature, Song Emo said directly. Ning Shu was speechless. Buying menstrual pads, buying underwear, and even following her around without blushing or panting. She was either an extraordinary beauty or an experienced driver. Why are you everywhere? Tell me, why are you everywhere? Is it difficult? Song Emo asked. Then be careful and come back early. You still have classes later. By the way, what's my major? Ning Shu asked. You must be kidding me or you're still asleep, Song Emo couldn't help but say. You study psychology. Psychology? Wasn't it a potion last time? Song Emo, you're the one who's joking. Aren't I studying pharmacy? Ning Shu asked. How did it become psychology? Song Emo was speechless. You'd better not go out and wander around. You look really silly like this. In short, the information Ning Shu had now was a mess. It changed from time to time. In short, with too much information, it was hard to distinguish between the truth and the lies. Ning Shu asked, What's your major? Song Emo frowned. Her expression was a little strange. She couldn't help but ask, What's wrong with you, Shermay? I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Ning Shu was all smiles. Her eyes curved into crescents as she tried to hide the look in her eyes. I study psychology too. Criminal psychology, Song Emo said as she followed Ning Shu to the school gate. Last time Song Emo said biopharmaceutical. This time, it was criminal psychology. Ning Shu, why are you looking at me like that? Song Emo couldn't help but raise her eyebrows. You look very silly. Ning Shu chuckled. The two walked to the school gate. When Ning Shu saw the school gate, she was so excited that her whole body trembled. You look like a dog who saw a bone, Song Emo said. Ning Shu, this Song Emo was slightly different from before. Could it be that Song Emo didn't have such a sharp tongue because the two of them didn't have a good relationship? Calling her a dog. This guy should be alone for the rest of his life. Ning Shu ignored Song Emo and walked toward the school gate. She stretched out one foot and carefully stepped over the gate. Then she stepped out with her other foot. There were many cars on the road outside. Because it was morning, there were even people running in the morning. So she came out. So this was the real world? Previously, when she wanted to leave the school gate, she encountered all kinds of obstacles. Now, there were no obstacles and she was out successfully. The world outside the school was very real. Ning Shu? She was a little dizzy now and couldn't tell the difference. What's wrong? Song Emo stood beside Ning Shu. When she saw the indescribable, complicated and confused expression on Ning Shu's face, she couldn't help but ask, "Did something happen to you?" Ning Shu shook her head. "No." Ning Shu strolled around and casually bought some things. They were all very realistic. Song Mo accompanied Ning Shu and helped Ning Shu carry things. Ning Shu walked further away and bought more things. She carried bags of various sizes and, most importantly, she observed the people around her. "Girl, how many more things do you want to buy? Why do you need a big bag of bath towels?" Song Mo said weakly, "I want to give some to my roommate." "You should give some to yours too," Ning Shu said casually. She used her mental strength to scan everywhere they passed. Song Mo, giving bath towels to a male roommate in the same dormitory? What's the difference between this and giving soap? "Bro, I'll help you scrub your back." Then she found that the female boss of a small shop looked the same as the female boss of a small shop from before. "Huh, did this count as a loophole? We've already walked around once and you've come back." "Take a break," Ning Shu said. "Aha, I've come back?" Ning Shu's mind wasn't on shopping. Instead, she was looking for a loophole in the illusion. She still didn't go out. Although a ghost didn't appear out of nowhere, she still felt that the current world was unreal. Ning Shu saw that Song Mo was tired from carrying things. She took the things in his hand and carried them with one hand and the other into the school. "Song Mo, girls can't carry things. You're a bit of a violation of your character. You've always been a refreshing girl," Song Mo couldn't help but say. "Ning Shu, fuck you. Can you stop criticizing people?" Did Song Mo become a criticizing alien this time? "I have more important things to do now. It doesn't matter if my character is broken." However, Song Mo wanted to show his boyfriend power. Of course, he wouldn't let Ning Shu carry things. He was empty-handed and insisted on carrying things. "Okay." Ning Shu gave all the bags to Song Mo. "You can carry them if you want." Chapter 1959. The only thing that didn't change about Song Mo was that he loved to show off. Song Mo was speechless. When they finally arrived at the girls' dormitory, Ning Shu took the things from Song Mo and gave him a big bag of bath towels. "I bought a lot, take it." "Thank you, give it to your girls." Song Mo rejected Ning Shu's bath towels. "This feeling was a little weird, my girlfriend might be fake." "Well, here's some water, take it and drink it on the way." Ning Shu handed a bottle of water to Song Mo. Song Mo took the water and stood still. "Then I'll go up." Ning Shu carried the bags and prepared to go upstairs. Song Mo nodded. Ning Shu saw Song Mo standing still and asked, "Are you going up?" "There are girls upstairs, it's not good for you to go up." There were also girls running around in shorts, it was not good for a boy like Song Mo to go up. Song Mo looked at Ning Shu. "I'll be going to class later, I'll wait for you here, come down quickly." Ning Shu carried the things upstairs. After climbing 4 floors, Ning Shu didn't encounter anything scary. To be honest, Ning Shu really wanted something scary to jump out and tell her that she was still in a dream. But the current situation made Ning Shu a little confused. It was real, but she didn't feel confident. It felt like a virtual world, but it also felt like reality. She was still in a dream. This was the feeling of being in a space-time disorder, unable to distinguish reality. Ning Shu laughed in his heart, went back to the dormitory, and called his 3 roommates for class. The next part of the schedule was class, eating, reading in the library, and then walking on the road. Of course, he followed his friends to finish these projects. A very ordinary day was about to pass. There were no monsters, no zombies, no bones, no man-eating flowers, nothing. Ning Shu had been on guard all this time, but nothing happened. Although there was nothing, Ning Shu's mind was still tense. This feeling was even more nerve-wracking than being in a terrifying environment. This feeling of anticipation and fear was the most torturous. Ning Shu even felt that such peaceful days were more stimulating than the horrifying scenes. If this was a real world, ordinary people would not be able to distinguish between reality and illusion. They would behave like a lunatic. Everyone thought that this person was crazy, but no one knew what kind of mentality this madman had. Many crazy people always saw things that ordinary people couldn't see. They were clearly tall buildings, but the ground looked very low. They wanted to jump down, and even felt that the floor was going to fall. Their behavior was to hide and hide. Most people would think that he was crazy. Moreover, there was always someone chattering beside his ear, talking to him as if there was a ghost. Ning Shu appeared very calm, and Song Modeo did not feel anything unusual. He only felt that his girlfriend might have become rotten. If she wasn't giving him soap, she would give him bath towels, and she even asked him to use it with the boys in the dormitory. Song Mo was speechless. Fortunately, Ning Shu's mental strength was strong enough. He chanted the mind-cleansing mantra in his heart, and there were no monsters chasing him everywhere. This was not a relaxing dream, but a dream that made one's nerves more tense. What are you afraid of? Song Mo sent Ning Shu to the girls' dormitory, rubbed Ning Shu's head and asked, "Don't be afraid, no matter what, I will be by your side." Ning Shu, "Oh, I believe you. Because you really have a lot of drama. You're an awesome person who can appear anytime and anywhere. In fact, you're the bug of the whole dream. Anyone can hurt you, but I won't hurt you. You have to believe me." Song Mo rubbed Ning Shu's hair until it was messy. Ning Shu hated messing up his hair the most. It took a night of curling his bangs with curlers to get such an effect, but Song Mo ruined it in an instant. How difficult was it for you to get a hairstyle? No matter what, I will be by your side. If there's anything you're afraid of, you can tell me. Song Mo grabbed Ning Shu's hand. "Don't be afraid." "I'm very afraid," Ning Shu said honestly. "Don't be afraid," Song Mo said. "Really, don't be afraid." "Oh, what should I be afraid of?" Ning Shu asked with a smile. "Think about what you're thinking and worry about what you're worried about," Song Mo said. He felt that Song Mo had become a little different. Ning Shu blinked and tilted his head to look at Song. "What do I have to worry about? What do I have to be afraid of?" Song Mo's hand covered Ning Shu's eyes. "Believe me, don't resist me." Song Mo's palm was a little dry and warm. When it covered Ning Shu's eyes, heat seeped through his eyelids. This heat treatment was very comfortable. Ning Shu nodded. "Can I believe you?" Ning Shu and Song Mo were more or less aware of each other's feelings. Now, they were talking about things that both of them could understand. "Other than believing me, what else can you do? So don't act like a crazy person. Just keep your mind normal," Song Mo said to Ning Shu as he put down his hand. "What am I doing?" Ning Shu asked. "You've been messing around. And you always implicate others." Ning Shu chuckled in his heart. Who the fuck knows what the situation is now? "If I believe you, I'll believe you." "Don't die," Song Mo said. "Don't let yourself die. Once you die, the dream will change again. If it keeps changing, you'll be trapped here forever," Song Mo said helplessly. "Oh." Ning Shu finally heard something useful. Ning Shu sat on the flower bed and patted the flower bed tiles. "Come, sit down and talk." Song Mo sat down and said directly, "You're an idiot. I've never seen someone as idiotic as you." "Ning Shu, you're not my blue friend?" Ning Shu asked. "Who's your blue friend?" "I just entered the dream to find an identity that you can accept," Song Mo said directly. "Here, have you become completely retarded?" "Ning Shu, I don't know what you're talking about." "Damn, this idiot is really sharp-tongued. Luckily, you're also quite retarded." Ning Shu said directly. "What's the situation outside?" Ning Shu asked. "You've been hypnotized." Ning Shu, specifically picking on things that she was unfamiliar with. Ning Shu narrowed his eyes and looked at Song. "Did I offend someone?" "The most important thing now is to wake up." "You don't seem to want to wake up," Song Mo said. "Of course, who would want to be tortured like this?" "Whether you wake up or not depends on you," Song Mo said. Ning Shu stood up. What she said was equivalent to not saying anything. As for what Song Mo said, it was only half believable. Ning Shu even suspected that this man, who was constantly making his presence known, had hypnotized her. Chapter 1960. The human brain was a rather magical thing, but under such intense stimulation, it was most likely useless. Ning Shu said, "Thank you for telling me. I think it's pretty good here. Maybe I can live forever." Ning Shu said half-truthfully, "But your body can't take it." Song Emo said, "Oh, so it's like that." Ning Shu nodded seriously. "Then I'll have to think about it." Good luck." Song Emo wanted to touch Ning Shu's head again, but Ning Shu avoided it. "You called me a retard. If I let you touch my head, I'll really be a retard." Song Emo turned and left. Ning Shu went upstairs, washed up, and lay on the bed. Was she going to start a new dream? Ning Shu opened her eyes wide and looked at the ceiling. "I just won't sleep." Anyway, Ning Shu felt that it would be difficult for her to go out. Song Emo could appear in her consciousness. Song Emo must have hypnotized her and made her accept the role of Song Emo. It seemed that Song Emo was here to help her, but Ning Shu didn't dare to completely trust Song Emo. Unable to sleep, Ning Shu recalled the content of the hypnosis book she had exchanged. Since she knew it was hypnosis, she had to start learning it. She had just memorized the book and hadn't used it once, but she had encountered such a task. Hypnosis was a substitute state of consciousness caused by various techniques. At this time, people were highly responsive to other people's suggestions. It was a highly suggestible state, and they reacted accordingly in perception, memory, and control. Hypnosis was a special mental state that was similar to sleep but not sleep, induced by human beings to be in a trance. It was characterized by the weakening or loss of the hypnotized person's independent judgment and voluntary actions, as well as the distortion or loss of feelings and perception. Ning Shu suspected that not only had she been hypnotized, but she had also been injected with hallucinogenic drugs. That was why she looked like this. Who wanted to harm her? Everyone's subconscious had an unwavering mission, and that was to protect this person. In fact, even in a hypnotic state, a person's subconscious would protect him like a loyal guard. Ning Shu still felt that these terrifying dreams were meant to destroy a person's spirit and subconscious. A lunatic had lost his ability to think normally. Fuck, this must be some kind of deep hatred. Ning Shu was familiar with hypnotism, but it wasn't something that could be learned in one go. He also needed someone to train him. Hypnotism was used to relax and solve some psychological problems. It was positive. Some people would use it to do bad things. After all, hypnotism could make you spill your secrets. Ning Shu took out his phone and looked at the time. It was already very late, and the other roommates in the dormitory were all asleep. Ning Shu felt rather sleepy. He tried his best to keep his eyelids open. "I'm not going to sleep." Who knew what would happen when he woke up? Ning Shu wanted to ensure that he was alive. Every time he died, he was consuming his own hope. In the end, Ning Shu fell into a deep sleep. His eyelids were so sleepy that Ning Shu felt that someone was pulling at his eyelids. Ning Shu slept in a daze. His fingers moved, but his whole body felt as if there was something heavy pressing down on him. He couldn't move, and even his breathing was difficult. Fuck, a ghost pressing down on the bed. Ning Shu felt that if she opened her eyes, what she would see would be a terrifying ghost face. It would be as scary as it could be. It would have a bloody mouth, disheveled hair, and red clothes with long nails pressing down on her body. Ning Shu moved his eyes and tried his best to move his body. He didn't know if it was a male or female ghost pressing down on him. If he could choose, Ning Shu hoped that it was a cute little girl. But would a cute little girl be so heavy? It was most likely a green-faced, fanged female ghost with a bloody mouth bleeding from all 7 orifices. It was as scary as it could be. After experiencing so much, Ning Shu was a little numb. His sister was also someone who had received ghosts before. Ning Shu struggled to open his eyes. In the end, he realized that he could see the gloomy moon in the sky. Ning Shu's face was cold. Wasn't he in the dormitory? Why was he sleeping in the open? Sure enough, it started again. Ning Shu moved his hands and found that he was tied to the field. His limbs were tied up with ropes, and his whole body was in the shape of the Chinese character. There was a dense crowd of people around him. They were dressed in black and wore hoods. These people didn't seem to have faces. Their faces were hidden in the hoods. They held torches in their hands and surrounded him. It looked a little scary. Ning Shu moved his body. His hands and feet were in pain from the ropes. It was tied really tightly. Ning Shu's heart thumped. If he was facing demons or ghosts, he wouldn't be so nervous. At most, he would be swallowed by them or peed his pants. But the viciousness of the human heart surpassed that of demons and ghosts. The most poisonous thing was the human heart. Was he going to burn her alive now? Moreover, Ning Shu realized that he wasn't wearing anything. Not even an inch of clothing. The fuck? It was more and more challenging to his psychological endurance. This time, he didn't even have any clothes. In any case, he should at least put some clothes on her out of humanitarian spirit. Moreover, there were so many people surrounding him and staring at him. That kind of shameful feeling made him want to die. Ning Shu couldn't even move his body. Ning Shu silently looked at the sky. Was she going to suffer something more tragic? Did he think that he didn't torture her enough? Ning Shu didn't believe that Song Mo said that she was hypnotized. Instead, this dream was perfected again and again. It wanted to trap her in this kind of purgatory and never let her out. Right now, Ning Shu was a fish on the chopping board. It was up to these people to decide whether they wanted to rape or kill her. Ning Shu looked at the moon that was getting brighter and brighter. Bright moonlight shone on her body. Was this some kind of sacrifice? The problem was that they were in school. Was it really okay to do this kind of thing? Ning Shu moved her wrist. But it was very painful because of the ropes. Fuck, she was being bullied in her dream. Her self-consciousness should protect her. More and more white moonlight shone on Ning Shu's body. Fuck, this feeling was too shameful. She was clearly not wearing anything, but they still shone the searchlight on her body. What was the point? She was being watched by others. Ning Shu tried her best to keep her mind clear. This old lady was also born naked. It was just that she had returned to her original state. Ning Shu pointed her middle finger at the moon. Stupid moon. What kind of bizarre dream was this? Why did this kind of thing happen? Ning Shu tilted her head and saw that Song Mo was actually among the group of black-clothed people. He was moving towards Ning Shu. He actually smiled sinisterly at Ning Shu and took out a shiny dagger. Under the cold moonlight, he stabbed it into Ning Shu's chest. When Song Mo pulled out the dagger, blood spurted out and splattered on Ning Shu's chest, forming a flower of blood. Chapter 1961. Falling in Love with You. Transmigrating canon fodder female supporting character Counterattack Ning Shu was stabbed in the heart by Song Mo. It was so painful. Fuck, it's game over again. Looking at these people dressed like the FFF sect, Ning Shu felt that Song Mo should be tied up and burned together with him. Why was she the only one tied up? Song Mo was also in the FFF sect. Ning Shu was not convinced. Ning Shu looked at Song Mo, who was smiling sinisterly. Fuck, how can people believe you when you're smiling like that? You look like a bad person. Ning Shu felt his body getting colder and colder. He was losing blood. It seemed that he was going to die again. Ning Shu did not know how many times he had died. It's better for me to kill you directly. Otherwise, you won't be able to take it later. Song Mo stabbed Ning Shu's chest again. Ning Shu was in so much pain that he took a deep breath. I thank you. I thank your whole family. You're welcome. Song Mo said. What are you doing? Ning Shu vomited blood and asked Song Mo. Song Mo said, I'm going to turn you into a mummy. Ning Shu was speechless. Why? Ning Shu vomited blood on Song Mo's face. I'm so stupid to believe you. It's a ritual. So you killed me wittily. Why didn't you cut the rope? Ning Shu was on the verge of collapse. He felt that he was going to die. This feeling of impending death made him feel light but also cold to the bone. Song Mo was speechless. Ning Shu woke up. The quilt was hanging by the side of the bed. His whole body was cold. It was like a dream again. It seemed like he could be reborn infinitely. It was like a dream, but time and space were completely messed up. It seemed like one dream after another. In fact, he was always in a dream. It was just that he had lost the ability to distinguish between reality and dream. Ning Shu felt that her brain had already been damaged from all the playing. Song Mo was simply a retard. Ning Shu hurriedly pulled the blanket up and wrapped it into a ball. It was too fucking cold. However, Ning Shu felt something cold under the blanket. It even made a hissing sound. Ning Shu opened the blanket to take a look. A huge snake was coiled up under the blanket. At this moment, it was really sticking out its tongue at him. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Ning Shu and Thick-Armed Snake were confronting each other. Judging from the looks of it, this fellow would probably rush up and bite her. Ning Shu woke up his roommate next door and asked, "Did you see a snake on my bed?" "What snake? Where did this snake come from?" His roommate was in a daze when he was woken up by Ning Shu. He was very unhappy. He glanced at Ning Shu's bed. There were no snakes at all. Ning Shu was speechless. Was she hallucinating? Ning Shu used her mental strength to scan the snake and found that there was nothing on the bed. Her eyes were deceiving her again. She was starting to hallucinate. Ning Shu reached out and grabbed the snake's neck. "Come and bite me if you have the guts." The snake bit Ning Shu's wrist. Ning Shu felt a lot of pain. There was venom injected into her skin. Ning Shu was just expressionless. "Let's see if you can poison me to death." Ning Shu threw the snake out and looked at the moon in the sky outside the window. There was basically no change. Some things in this world were fixed. Even if you knew that it was virtual, you didn't know how to get out. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the bed and supported her chin. It was not a good thing to go back and forth like this, so she couldn't go on like this. Every time she died, it was a real feeling. This feeling over and over again would drive people crazy sooner or later. As for that idiot Song Mo, his words were basically not trustworthy. Moreover, his behavior was contradictory. On one hand, he said that he believed her, but in the next moment he stabbed a knife into her chest. Crazy. She couldn't passively endure torture over and over again like this. She had to take the initiative to solve the problem. Ning Shu took out her phone and called Song Mo. She had to find a breakthrough from Song Mo. However, it was still early. Ning Shu lay on the bed and thought about this matter from beginning to end. She couldn't let go of any small details. Also, there had to be a reason why the client was trapped here. What was the purpose of these illusions? Song Mo said that she was hypnotized. She was probably not just hypnotized. Song Mo, the Song Mo who had a lot of scenes. Song Mo came and went freely in these illusions, appearing and disappearing. It seemed that she had entered this illusion to rescue her. Ning Shu just laughed. Ning Shu forced her soul out of her body and floated out of the window in her soul state. She floated towards the sky. The moon in the sky was getting bigger and bigger. In the end, Ning Shu actually bumped into the moon. It was as if he had bumped into bulletproof glass. Ning Shu reached out and touched the sky. There was a layer of something covering the sky, covering the entire world. In other words, there was no way out with ordinary methods. Who the hell knew where this was? Ning Shu used his soul power to condense an axe. Raising the axe, Ning Shu hacked down at the sky. Although Ning Shu used all his strength, giving off the feeling of wanting to split the heavens and cleave the earth, it was useless. Instead, the rebound force sent him flying back into his body. What kind of world was this? Was this the client's consciousness world? But how could she get out? Her soul smashed back into her body. Ning Shu vomited a mouthful of blood. Motherfucker. Ning Shu clutched his chest. His heart hurt. It was as if he had been stabbed twice. The pain was unbearable. Now, his soul was shaken and his whole body was in pain. Ning Shu felt that the client had lost herself in this world. She was either crazy or stupid. All the torture was just to break down the client's mind and soul, turning her into a walking corpse. But what was the reason? What was the purpose? No matter what happened, there was a reason and purpose. Ning Shu could not figure it out even if he cracked his head. If there was no other way, Ning Shu felt that he should solve this illusion with violence. But his soul was in so much pain. It was as if there was a fire burning his soul. It should be because he had touched the boundary of this world. This kind of pain and despair was enough to destroy a person's will and hope. Early in the morning, Ning Shu found Song Mo. As soon as he saw Song Mo, Ning Shu thought of the grudge she had for stabbing him twice. Although it was fake, the feeling was very real. The pain was also real. Ning Shu looked at Song Imo with a smile. Seeing Ning Shu's fake smile, Song Imo asked, "What's wrong?" Speaking of which, when she was dreaming, Song Imo had stabbed her. Song Imo did not seem to know anything. Ning Shu said, "I feel that I need to know something." "Know what?" Song Imo did not understand. She asked, "What's wrong?" Ning Shu, Song Imo would pretend to know everything from time to time. Now she did not know anything? "Hypnosis," Ning Shu said. "What hypnosis?" Song Imo asked in surprise. Clearly, she was confused by Ning Shu's sudden question. Her blank look was very real. Just read a novel. Chapter 1962. Falling in Love with You. Transmigrating canon fodder female supporting character Counterattack. Ning Shu was very annoyed by Song Mo's unfathomable behavior. Could it be that someone projected their consciousness onto Song Imo? That was why Song Imo was so crazy. Did Song Imo not know anything now? Ning Shu said indifferently, "Nothing." "What's wrong with you?" Song Imo asked Ning Shu and passed the breakfast in his hand to Ning Shu. Ning Shu nodded and looked at Song Imo, who was wearing a turtleneck sweater. He reached out and patted Song Mo's face. It felt real. "What are you doing?" Song Imo looked at the baffled Ning Shu and was a little confused. Ning Shu was a little suspicious that Song Mo's existence was to monitor her. But looking at Song Mo's behavior, Ning Shu reached out and pinched Song Mo's face. He pinched the flesh on his face and rubbed it until Song Mo's face was beyond recognition. What's wrong?" Song Imo asked incoherently. Ning Shu closed his eyes and released his mental strength. He carefully examined Song Imo and did not even let go of Song Mo's heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys. He scanned inch by inch. In the end, he vaguely discovered that Song Imo was actually a skeleton. Ning Shu was speechless. Ning Shu did not check Song Mo's situation before. But Song Mo suddenly received some information saying that she had been hypnotized and had to work hard to live. Once, she had stabbed a knife into her chest. This made Ning Shu suspicious of this person's behavior. This situation was nothing more than being betrayed by someone you trusted. It was too fucking despairing. But Ning Shu's heart did not waver, and he would not pin his hopes on Song Imo. If she did not have any hopes for you, naturally there would not be any betrayal and the pain of having her hopes dashed. Ning Shu let go of Song Mo's face and stuffed a steamed bun into Song Mo's mouth. "Eat it. More." Song Imo was choked by Ning Shu's rude behavior and rolled his eyes. He drank a mouthful of water before swallowing it down. Ning Shu used his spiritual power to check what Song Imo had eaten. Song Imo didn't have internal organs, so these things couldn't be digested in his stomach. Ning Shu smiled. Then he picked up the chair and hit Song Mo's head. Song Mo's head was sent flying. Song Mo's head hit the wall and fell to the ground. Song Mo's face twisted in shock and bewilderment. Song Mo's body fell to the ground and turned into a skeleton, shattering all over the ground. Song Mo's head was reduced to bones. Ning Shu put down the chair and patted the dust off his hands. "Did you really think that you stabbed me? I really have to thank your whole family." Who were the people around her, the people in the dormitory, and the students in the school? Ning Shu released his spiritual power and scanned the students passing by. They were all skeletons wrapped in a layer of skin and then turned into humans. "Still sleeping, get up?" Someone woke up Ning Shu. Ning Shu suddenly opened his eyes and found himself in the dormitory. So, was it a dream again? Song Imo was a skeleton. Everyone was a skeleton. Ning Shu released his spiritual power and scanned his roommates in the dormitory. There were beating hearts and internal organs. They were all alive people, not skeletons. Ning Shu. It was like this, true and false, constantly overturning the guesses in his heart. It seemed like a dream. It was not real. Ning Shu's mouth twitched. Not going to class, lying on the bed motionless, it was all fake. Seeing that Ning Shu was not moving, his roommates didn't say anything and went to class one by one. Ning Shu looked at his busy roommates. Were these people's consciousnesses autonomous or were they being controlled? Ning Shu felt that his brain was about to explode. His soul was extremely tired and he thought too much. Moreover, he took the risk of leaving his body and looking at the world in his soul state. Ning Shu got out of bed and looked at the sky outside the window. The sun was so dazzling that he couldn't look directly at it. Ning Shu quickly lowered his head and squinted his eyes. He sat cross-legged and began to cultivate. Since the sun was so strong, it should be the power of the sun. Let's see if I can cultivate. There was a subtle power of the sun integrated into Ning Shu's dantian. Ning Shu couldn't help but change his expression. The previous world was distorted and the magnetic field was chaotic. It was impossible to cultivate at all. Now, there was only a trace of power, but it meant that the world was beginning to stabilize. The more stable the world was, the more she couldn't get out. This was not a simple hypnosis. Song Mo, that dog lied. Ning Shu was a little anxious. If he didn't get out, he would be trapped here and experience endless dreams. The person who entrusted him must be dead. He didn't know how he sacrificed his soul to counterattack. Ning Shu stopped cultivating. Although there was a little bit of energy, it was useless. He had to think of a way to leave this place. Otherwise, there would be no counterattack and he would lose himself. Dong dong dong. There was knocking on the door. Ning Shu stood up and opened the door. When he saw Song Mo asked, "Are you sick?" Ning Shu was speechless. Seeing Song Mo, Ning Shu felt really helpless. He was really helpless. Why did he keep jumping out from time to time? What are you doing here? Ning Shu looked at Song. This is the female dormitory. I asked your roommate and she said that you didn't go to class. I came to see what was wrong with you. I brought you some food and some medicine. They are all cold medicine. As Song Mo spoke, he took out the things in the bag. There was food and medicine. From the looks of it, Song Mo was the best boyfriend. It was hard to tell whether he was friend or foe. Song Mo was simply schizophrenic. No, she was schizophrenic. Every time she met Song Mo, there was something wrong with him. Ning Shu thanked him calmly. Thank you. You should leave. This is the female dormitory. Ning Shu didn't want to have too much contact with Song Mo. Besides, there was nothing useful every time. Maybe she was still dreaming. In short, Ning Shu didn't know if he was dreaming or waking up from a dream. Song Mo nodded and reached out to touch Ning Shu's forehead. You're a little hot. You're sick. You're the one who's sick. Ning Shu felt that he was in good condition. He didn't have a cold or fever. Feel it yourself. Song Mo took out the medicine and took out 2 pills for Ning Shu. Take the medicine. I'm very good. I don't need to take medicine, Ning Shu said directly. You're sick. I'm not. You're really sick. Fuck, I'm not sick. Ning Shu felt refreshed. How was he sick? Song Mo didn't force Ning Shu to take the medicine anymore. He put the pills aside. Take it if you're not feeling well. I'm leaving. Sure may. Ning Shu looked at Song Mo, who wanted to say something but stopped. What's wrong? Is there something about me that you're not satisfied with? Your attitude towards me is making me very uncomfortable. Song Mo said. When you chased me, was it because of vanity? You asked me to be your boyfriend to satisfy your vanity. So much for reading novels. Chapter 1963. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattacks Satisfy Her Vanity? What the hell? Ning Shu was speechless. Huh? What do you mean? Ning Shu blinked and asked, just say what you want to say. Why couldn't she keep up with his pace? What was Song Mo trying to do now? Song Mo was simply a troublemaker. You've been acting weird lately and you're getting impatient with me. Are you thinking of breaking up? I seem to be an object that you don't cherish after getting it, Song Mo said with a frown. She was very dissatisfied with Ning Shu. Ning Shu, are you okay? He was clearly a fresh and artistic person. Was he going to have a catfight now? He was complaining that his girlfriend didn't care about him. What can happen to me? Song Mo said, I'm fine. Song Mo's face said, I'm in trouble. Something big. I'm dissatisfied, very dissatisfied, Ning Shu poured some water from the bottle and asked with a smile, "Then what do you want?" "What am I to you?" Song Emo looked at Ning Shu, who was drinking water, and asked, "What am I to you?" Ning Shu, "Yes, a friend. When you were chasing me, you were very passionate. My existence only made you proud. Others would say how handsome and good your boyfriend is," Song Emo said. "Ning Shu, you're here to brag, aren't you? I hate this look of yours the most now. It's as if you don't care about anything. Am I your boyfriend?" Song Emo looked at the calm Ning Shu and felt her heart burning. There was an indescribable anger burning in her heart. "Was I really chasing you?" Ning Shu asked. "In this dream, everything was fake. Was Song Emo real or fake?" "Yes, you were the one who chased me. I'm human. I can feel your coldness and alienation." Song Emo stared at Ning Shu. "What do you take me for?" Ning Shu, "A skeleton. A skeleton." Song Emo was confused. Ning Shu was now thinking about how to leave this godforsaken place. How could he have the time to talk to Song Emo about whether you love me, whether I love you, and what do you think you are? See? I hate this strange expression of yours, as if it's nothing at all, Song Emo said, suppressing his anger. "Oh," Ning Shu replied. He reached out and grabbed Song Mo's collar. "What do you want?" "Then let's break up." Song Emo said, "I don't want to become a tool for your vanity." Ning Shu, "Io, who's so vain?" She didn't drag Song Emo to show off her love every day, nor did she post selfies from time to time to say how handsome her boyfriend was. So, how could she have the time to be vain? "Oh, then let's break up." Ning Shu was too lazy to argue with Song Emo. Who the hell wants to be in a relationship with you? Besides, these are all empty words. Song Emo was so angry that his nose twitched. "Sure May, is your heart made of stone? Is it that hard?" "How am I hard? It's because I didn't cry and beg you to stay. I didn't apologize to you. I didn't go in the direction you expected. That's why I'm hard. You're here to cause trouble." Song Emo was so angry that his face turned red. "You?" Song Emo pushed Ning Shu and pinned Ning Shu against the window. With a little more force, he was going to push Ning Shu down the stairs. Ning Shu tilted his head and looked out of the window. Fuck, Song Emo was going to kill him again. "Sure May, do you even have me in your heart?" Song Mo's arm was pressed against Ning Shu's neck. "You annoying woman." Even if he was going to be pushed down the stairs, Ning Shu's heart did not waver. Pain, fear, struggle, resentment, despair. What had she not experienced before? And this illusion seemed to make people go through all these, to make them completely break down. Ning Shu reached out and pulled Song Mo's collar. With the other hand, he patted Song Mo's face. "If we die, let's die together. Birth, old age, illness, death, resentment, separation, unrequited love, these were the 5 aggregates. Hungry, cold, hot, embarrassed, crying, and sad, these negative feelings and emotions caused a person to be affected by them was called the 5 skandhas blazing bitterness. Ning Shu had experienced all of these. "Sure May." Song Mo's face trembled. He shouted in a low voice, "Look at how sloppy you are. Have you ever loved me? I'm serious. Have you ever loved me?" Song Mo's eyes were red. Ning Shu was stunned for a moment. Then he said, "You're not real." "What's not real?" "Sure May, don't talk nonsense." Song Emo roared angrily. His eyes were red. It was as if Ning Shu had hurt a boy's feelings. Ning Shu was speechless. I swear to God. When did she fall head over heels in love with Song Emo again? "Big brother, you even stabbed a knife into my chest last time, and now you're talking about love with me? I don't want to explain. Why are you hesitating? Say it." "I knew it. Your feelings for me are just like what your roommate said to me. You treat me as a pretty accessory. When you need me, I'm your blue friend. When you don't need me, I shouldn't appear." Song Emo complained tearfully. Ning Shu was really confused. "You're the only one who's in character. I don't feel anything at all. We're not in love. We don't have any good memories. I don't feel anything. No matter how emotional you shout, I don't feel anything." Ning Shu looked at Song Emo, who was trying his best to act. He felt a little tired for him. "Are you really okay? You're not imagining things, are you?" Song Imo used his elbow to press against Ning Shu's neck. With a little force, Ning Shu's body leaned up. If he fell from this height, he would die a horrible death. Ning Shu looked down slightly. It was a little high. All death was real. All pain was real. "What's wrong with me?" Song Imo sneered. "Shermei, you vain woman. Go to hell." Song Mo's embarrassment turned into anger. With endless resentment and despair, he pushed Ning Shu down the window with all his strength. Ning Shu grabbed Song Mo's collar tightly and pulled him down the window. Ning Shu quickly grabbed the window, but Song Imo was thrown out. Song Imo looked at Ning Shu with an extremely sorrowful gaze. Finally, with a loud bang, his body hit the ground. With a loud explosion, Song Mo's body flowed with blood. He fell into a pool of blood, unable to move. Someone jumped off the building. Someone jumped off the building. There was a scream from below. Ning Shu was exhausted. He sat on the ground and panted. Ning Shu clutched his heart. He felt like his heart was going to jump out of his throat. He felt like he was going to collapse. This feeling was too real. It was so real that a life disappeared in front of her. But was she going to be pushed down the window obediently? Death was a real feeling. So much for reading novels. Chapter 1964. Falling in Love with You, Transmigrating Canon Fodder Female Supporting Character Counterattack. This feeling was really fucking unpleasant. From the beginning to the end, Song Imo was here to cause trouble and to kill her. Step by step, he cut off all her hopes. Compared to the previous Song Imo who had appeared to save her image, the current Song Imo was full of killing intent towards her. She was going to be trapped in here. Ning Shu didn't know how much she had experienced. She had already given up on distinguishing between reality and illusion. Anyway, she couldn't get out of here. She was like a fish trapped in a fish tank, unable to swim out no matter how hard she tried. Then, she kept experiencing such things until her soul couldn't take it anymore. "She's the murderer." I saw her push Song Imo down the stairs. The dormitory door suddenly opened. A female student pointed at Ning Shu who was sitting on the ground. Behind her were two policemen in uniform. The two policemen came over and handcuffed Ning Shu's hands. "You're suspected of intentional homicide. You're now in custody." Ning Shu didn't say a word. Her heart skipped a beat. If this was real, then her life would be ruined? If she returned, she would be facing jail time. Really? Is this real? The feeling of space-time confusion was that she didn't know if what she had done was real or not. Would she be punished or would she be fine after waking up? Ning Shu was brought to the dormitory. Song Mo's body had already been taken away. There was a big pool of blood on the ground. There was a fixed line drawn along the edge of the body. It was the shape of Song Mo's fall from the stairs. Ning Shu had a splitting headache. She looked at the people around her who were pointing at her. Even the school's leaders came over. "She's the one who killed her boyfriend. Song Imo was such a good person. Why did she kill him? I didn't expect her to be such a person. I heard that she's a two-timer." Back then, when she saw that Song Mo's family was rich, she pestered him. Now that they're together, she wants to climb up the social ladder again. What a vain woman. Ning Shu heard the whispers of the girls around her. When did this happen? Why didn't she know what had happened? What a disgrace to the school. The school leader shook his head and said, he was still so calm after killing someone. There was no remorse at all. His calm demeanor was really frightening. The surrounding people were complaining about Ning Shu in low voices. The other 3 roommates in the dormitory hurried over. When they saw Ning Shu's appearance, one of them pointed at Ning Shu and said, "I told you to restrain yourself. Look, something still happened." Ning Shu's black face was filled with question marks. What did I do to be vain? What did I do to Song Imo? Could it be that she had returned to reality, where she had killed her blue friend? Ning Shu had a splitting headache. This time, even the headmaster and headmaster had appeared. It was becoming more and more realistic. Ning Shu was shoved into the police car, and the police car drove out of the school. Ning Shu looked at the scene outside the car window. Everything seemed very real. The police next to her also seemed very real. They wanted to drag her to the police station and start interrogating her. Ning Shu pinched his thigh. It was too painful. Ning Shu was speechless. It was completely confusing. The police siren was blaring. Ning Shu was dragged to the police station and locked up in the detention center. So, she was in jail. There were many prisoners in the jail, and those who were locked up with Ning Shu were all women. Some of these women looked extremely ferocious. Some of them looked soft and timid, and some of them looked like they were cowering in fear. Ning Shu stood in the corner, her heart filled with doubt. Had she really returned to reality? Previously, she was in school. But this time, she was in the police station. This world, Ning Shu sat in the corner, preparing to try to get Ning Shu to leave her body. Every time she tried to force it, it would tire her soul out and hurt her body. But Ning Shu had no choice. She had to confirm whether she was in an illusion or reality. Before Ning Shu's soul could leave his body was kicked heavily by someone. Ning Shu almost spat out a mouthful of blood. When he opened his eyes, he saw a few women surrounding him. Ning Shu stood up expressionlessly. "What? Newcomer, this place is mine. What did you do to get here?" The female prisoner lifted her chin and asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu said indifferently, "Murder." The female prisoner raised her eyebrows. "Who did you kill?" "I don't know." Ning Shu stared at the female prisoner. Her eyes were very indifferent. "Is there anything else?" This is my place." Ning Shu walked away. A prison guard opened the door. "Come out, Shermay." Damn, she just wanted to leave her body. Ning Shu was handcuffed and sent to the interrogation room. The police officers interrogating Ning Shu were a man and a woman. Shermay. Age. No way. He was in his second year of university. According to the general age, he should be 22. After a series of ordinary questions, the interrogation began. "Why did you kill Song Emo? What was your relationship? What was your enmity?" Ning Shu. "We were a couple. Song Emo wanted to kill me. I was defending myself." "Then why did Song Emo want to kill you?" Ning Shu. "Fuck, how was she supposed to answer?" "Song Emo wanted to kill me many times." The two police officers looked at each other and frowned. "This is the statement we collected from the school. You and the victim, Song Emo, are a couple. You were the one who pursued Song Emo before the two of you confirmed your relationship. According to your other three roommates, the two of you often quarreled because you were too timing." The police officer said. This dream was really strange. Why hadn't she woken up yet? Could it be that she had to die for this matter to pass? But if this was the real world, if she wanted to die, then she would really die. Ning Shu only said, "Since I was too timing, then it was Song Emo who killed me first. Because of an accident, he fell from the building. But there were witnesses who saw you push the victim down the building." The police officer said, "And it wasn't a witness. Can you explain the situation at that time?" Ning Shu thought about it and told the truth. She said that Song Emo wanted to kill her and that she was only defending herself. Ning Shu insisted that she didn't kill anyone. Ning Shu pinched the back of her hand from time to time. She felt the pain. It was too real. Now, she was a prisoner being interrogated. Song Emo was really dead? "I heard that you love branded goods. Many of your classmates, including your roommates, said that you pursued Song Emo because you wanted him to buy branded goods for you." Ning Shu. Who knows? Now, even the settings were set. In the past, the illusion was very rough and full of bugs. But now, she was a vain person. So much for reading novels. Chapter 1965. The two policemen interrogated Ning Shu for a very long time. They kept asking questions and were exhausted. In short, they just kept asking. Ning Shu only said that he was defending himself. In a situation where he couldn't distinguish between reality and dream, Ning Shu couldn't commit suicide, nor could he plead guilty like this. What if this was real? The interrogation room was very oppressive. The lights were a little dim, giving people a very uneasy and oppressive feeling. Ning Shu kept pinching the back of his hand. He could clearly feel the pain. Ning Shu pinched the back of his hand until it was bruised. In the end, the two policemen looked at each other and let the prison guard escort Ning Shu back to the detention center. Ning Shu returned to the iron cage and sat in a corner. He closed his eyes and forced his soul out of his body. When he encountered the iron cage, Ning Shu compressed his soul and turned it into a flat paper. He passed through the iron cage. Ning Shu left the police station and looked up at the sky. He saw a sun hanging in the sky. Because he was in his soul state, Ning Shu saw the sun as a fireball hanging in the sky. Ning Shu tilted his head and looked at the sky. His soul floated up and flew towards the sun. The closer he got to the sun, the hotter it became. It was as if Ning Shu's soul was going to melt like ice cream. Since he was in his soul state, Ning Shu absorbed the heat. When he flew into the sky, it was as if he had hit glass. Ning Shu touched the barrier in the sky. How was he going to break through this barrier? Ning Shu opened his hand and condensed thin needles in his hand. The thin needles shot into the barrier. With a bang, the thin needles exploded, but it had no effect on the barrier. This world was becoming more and more stable. Ning Shu struggled with the barrier. Ning Shu's body had already been carried out of the police station. Because there was no soul in the body, he was now in a coma and had to be sent to the hospital for emergency treatment. Ning Shu watched expressionlessly as his body was carried into the ambulance. If he really couldn't do it, he would wander around this world in his soul state to avoid being scared. It was better that the body was unconscious. This would make the cycle of reincarnation stop. Ning Shu stepped on the cloud and wandered around. Looking into the distance, the entire city was in sight. There were tall buildings, but there was a white fog in the distance. This world was getting bigger and more stable. This was probably not a conscious world. Ning Shu's heart faintly emitted a sense of joy. Perhaps this would be a beautiful turning point. Ning Shu kept flying towards the horizon, towards the edge of the world. She wanted to take a look at the horizon. The soulless body was unconscious and the doctors were trying their best to save it. Although there was a heartbeat, it was unconscious. Ning Shu stepped on the clouds and arrived at the horizon. The horizon was filled with white fog. Ning Shu gritted his teeth and charged into the thick white fog. There was nothing in the white fog. It was impossible to see clearly. The entire world was a vast expanse of whiteness. Ning Shu stretched out his hand and pointed with his finger, wanting to collect the white fog. Although the white fog was fog, it was also a form of water. Ning Shu compressed the fog, but there was no end to it. Furthermore, this world had no laws, so Ning Shu found it very difficult to use laws. Ning Shu kept walking forward. He didn't know how far he had walked, but he probably couldn't walk back. Ning Shu felt a little guilty, but there was no point in returning now. He could only walk inside. How bad could the worst-case scenario be? How bad could the current situation be? She didn't want to be a puppet anymore. Her soul was trapped here. What could she do if she couldn't leave? Ning Shu kept walking tirelessly. The white fog churned wherever he passed and took the initiative to open a path. When he was tired, Ning Shu sat down to rest for a while and absorb some of the white fog. Furthermore, as Ning Shu walked, Ning Shu realized that the white fog was mixed with wisps of purple fog. Ning Shu grabbed a wisp of purple fog. The fog was like purple threads that twisted in Ning Shu's hand. Although he didn't know what it was, Ning Shu put it away when he encountered it. He didn't know how long he had been walking. Ning Shu felt terrible. He definitely couldn't return, so he kept walking. It was better than going back and being tortured again and again. However, Ning Shu realized that his soul was slowly dissipating. He estimated that it wouldn't be long before his soul was devoured by the white fog. Ning Shu could only brace himself and walk forward. He didn't act before because he didn't want his soul to leave his body and fail the mission. Now that he looked at it, the body might be fake. He didn't want the body. Ning Shu walked, and the fog slowly dissipated. He saw a pool. There were lotuses growing in the pool. They slowly swayed and emitted a faint fragrance. What was this place? Was it the center of this world? Ning Shu walked into the pool. There was water in the pool. The water was clear and there were fish swimming in it. There were lotuses and fish. It was a beautiful pool. Ning Shu reached out and touched the water. The water was condensed from spiritual energy. Good stuff. Ning Shu quickly sat cross-legged beside the pool and absorbed the spiritual energy. There was finally spiritual energy in his dantian. Could it be that there was no spiritual energy in this world because of this pool? What kind of world was this? Ning Shu absorbed the spiritual energy. Then he looked at the fish in the pool and the fragrant lotus. He said to 2333, "Keep these things." 2333 said, "Oh, it's just some spiritual energy and spiritual energy lotuses. It's not valuable. But it's beautiful." Ning Shu said directly. It was beautiful to keep in the system space. He was in a good mood. "Do you know what kind of world this is?" Ning Shu asked 2333. He saw that the spiritual energy and lotuses in the pool were gone. 2333 kept the things. "I don't know." 2333 said directly. Ning Shu was speechless. Ning Shu didn't put his hopes on 2333. Ning Shu continued to walk. He would be able to walk out of this world. But as he walked, the ground started to shake violently. It was like a volcano was about to erupt. It was pitch black in front of him. When he could see light again, he saw a white ceiling. He smelled disinfectant. She was in the hospital. Ning Shu raised his head and looked at his hand. There was an 4 drip on the back of his hand. It was swollen and painful. Ning Shu pursed his lips. What? She was back again? Was he not going to give up until he played her to death? Ning Shu sat up and was about to pull out the 4 drip on the back of his hand. He was about to leave when the door opened. It was a couple. When they saw Ning Shu, they cried, "Why did you kill someone? But what are you going to do for the rest of your life? You're forcing me and your dad to die." Mother Sure cried and said, "Fortunately, you were able to become a university student. You actually did such a shameful thing. How are we going to raise our heads in front of our neighbors?" Chapter 1966. Ning Shu's heart did not waver at the sudden appearance of the couple. They might not even be the client's parents. Ning Shu lay on the bed, wanting to let her soul leave her body. She did not want to listen to the couple's endless chatter about how she was an embarrassment and how she had brought shame to her family. She did not even know if these were true. However, Ning Shu realized that her soul could not leave her body for a while. What was going on? Could it be that her soul had left her body previously and now her soul was locked in this body? This world seemed to be constantly changing. Fixing bugs? It seemed to be constantly evolving. Was this a human's consciousness world? Ning Shu felt that something was wrong. "I'm talking to you. Why are you covering your head? Tell me, what are you going to do now? You've ruined the rest of your life. How are you going to get married in the future? Your father earned money for you to study so that you could fool around with boys in school and even killed them. How are you going to face your father and me?" Mother Sure pulled the blanket away and saw Ning Shu's fearless expression. She immediately burst into tears. "All right, the visiting time is over," the police officer guarding the door said to the couple. Father Sure sighed and turned to leave. His back seemed to be a little hunched, which made people feel very sorry for him. Could it be that her soul leaving her body just now was also a dream? She felt that she really knew how to play. Ning Shu felt the spiritual energy in her dantian. She had seen the spiritual energy pool earlier, so her body should have some strength. However, Ning Shu saw that her dantian was empty. There was nothing. Not to mention spiritual energy, even her dantian had not been developed. Moreover, there was no spiritual energy in her soul. Ning Shu, was she dreaming again? Ning Shu was speechless. Then did the lotus in her dream take away? There were water, flowers, and fish. It looked very good in the system space. So far, she had not found any effective way to break through the dilemma in front of her. Moreover, it seemed that she was now in a real world. In the real world, she had killed her boyfriend and became a murderer. If the crime was confirmed, Then she would have to face the consequences of being imprisoned. The rest of her life would be over just like that. What kind of counterattack was this? Ning Shu rubbed his eyebrows and got down from the bed. He walked to the window and looked down. It was very high. If he jumped down, he would definitely fall into two halves. Ning Shu would never do such a suicidal thing. What if this was the real world? Afraid of death. Some doctors came to check on Ning Shu's body. These doctors were very real. They did all kinds of checks on Ning Shu. In the end, the doctor informed the police and asked them to take Ning Shu to the neurology department because he might have a neurological problem. On the surface, Ning Shu's emotions were apathetic, slow, and uncoordinated. He rarely moved, was antisocial, passive, and had the wrong intention to retreat. These were all symptoms of a neurological disorder. Ning Shu was probably suspicious of everyone he looked at. The way he looked at people was suspicious, and when he looked at them carefully, his movements were hesitant, his face was expressionless, and he would stand, sit, or stare blankly. He looked like a neurologist. If he was a neurologist, killing people might not be illegal. Ning Shu was taken to check if he was a neurologist. Ning Shu thought she was going crazy now. The feeling of space-time disorientation made Ning Shu feel that she could not recover for a long time. She was constantly doubting whether the space she was in was real or not. Her brain was damaged. The doctor did all kinds of checks on Ning Shu, including asking Ning Shu some questions. Ning Shu did not come back to her senses for a long time. She directly said that the world was fake and that everyone was fake. When a normal person heard this, most of them would be hopelessly crazy. Then, Ning Shu was stuffed into the police car. The police car pulled Ning Shu to the neurology hospital and directly threw Ning Shu there. Looking at the hospital full of neurologist patients, Ning Shu was speechless. Whether it was in jail or in the neurology hospital, it was a cage. It was not easy to live. The neurology hospital was in the suburbs. It was surrounded by high walls, similar to a prison. At night, it was eerie and terrifying. Ning Shu lay on the bed and looked at the moon outside the iron window. She took a lot of medicine every day. She did not know if these drugs had any effect. She guessed that they were some calming drugs. There was the sound of the nurse's high heels in the corridor. The sound traveled far and there was an echo. It was eerie and terrifying. Ning Shu covered his head. Then, his soul left his body. After leaving his body, Ning Shu saw many ghosts guarding his body. They all wanted to enter his body. Not only Ning Shu, but there were also many other neurologist patients. There were many ghosts beside them. Sometimes, they would stick out their long tongues to lick the sleeping patients. The patients' expressions were painful. Some patients uncontrollably got up from the bed and jumped. Under the control of the ghosts, they were incomparably nervous. This was not only a neurology hospital, but also an evil ghost field. There were many ghosts beside these patients. They chattered in the ears of the patients. They surrounded the patients, looked at them, and licked them. In a place where you could not see, they were watching you. Ning Shu's body was occupied by an evil ghost. This evil ghost let out a cackle. Its face was ferocious. It was a neurologist. There were also some evil ghosts fighting for the body. Ning Shu frowned. It was fine if he did not have a body. This body was also illusory. Ning Shu floated out of the room. In this neurology hospital, there were evil ghosts everywhere. The ghosts floated in the corridors and courtyards. Some of the doctors and nurses were even entangled by ghosts. Black hands were placed on their shoulders. Some even wrapped around their backs. Of course, this was directly reflected in the weight of the people. Their weight was soaring. They did not gain any weight, but their weight increased. Some of the evil ghosts saw Ning Shu and even stuck out their tongues for Ning Shu. Ning Shu even saw the nurses and doctors on the night shift doing that in the office. The doctors and nurses were engaged in an intense battle. Behind the nurse was a red-clothed ghost. The ghost had a look of enjoyment on its face as it clung onto the nurse's body. It seemed to be enjoying the wonderful feeling as well. When it saw Ning Shu, it bit its red lips and let out a seductive voice from between its lips and teeth. Ning Shu blinked. Ning Shu waved and hummed, inviting Ning Shu to join the battle. There were 2 humans and 1 ghost. They still wanted to invite her. Some people who were lustful might have such a beautiful ghost clinging to them. These beautiful ghosts either joined in the entanglement or watched from the side. In short, they watched the scene of people licking each other. Ning Shu was speechless. Ning Shu took a look at this scene and floated away. The romance in the office continued. Ning Shu's body floated out of the neurology hospital. The entire hospital was gloomy. The yin energy was so thick that even the moon and stars could not be seen. Ning Shu flew into the sky. He passed through layers of dark clouds and saw the huge moon. Chapter 1967. Ning Shu flew toward the moon. Since it was the moon, it should have the power of the stars. Ning Shu used his peerless martial art to absorb the power of the stars. However, he couldn't feel the power of the stars. There was the moon and the stars, but there was no power of the stars. Therefore, this world was still fake. Ning Shu flew towards the moon and ended up crashing into the enchantment. His soul was almost shattered. The moon was fake. It was as if he had drawn a moon. Ning Shu used his soul power to condense a huge axe and chopped at the barrier. However, Ning Shu was bounced back by the barrier's power and fell to the ground. His soul was almost shattered. Ning Shu got up from the ground. He curled his lips and looked at the wandering ghosts. Ning Shu rolled his eyes. Since you're trapped here, I'll let my sister send you to hell. Ning Shu sat cross-legged and started to chant the rebirth scripture. He condensed his soul power and started to draw talismans. If these ghosts were real, they could be sent to hell. A black hole would appear and allow these souls to enter another world. If these ghosts were virtual, he couldn't send them to hell. When Ning Shu started to chant the rebirth scripture, these ghosts seemed to be summoned. They rushed toward Ning Shu and wanted to devour him. They tried to bite Ning Shu and tear a piece of his flesh off Ning Shu's body. Ning Shu grimaced in pain. However, these ghosts didn't have an easy time. After all, Ning Shu's soul had some merit. Although it wasn't a golden merit body, it could still restrain these evil spirits. Moreover, he had once obtained a halo that could restrain the blood race and otherworldly items. Thinking about it, he wasn't hurt by the ghosts before. At most, he was scared. He was fine. It was most likely his halo's effect. Moreover, the number of ghosts that appeared decreased. They were all zombies and aliens. They either turned into walking corpses or killed people themselves. His conscience was tormented. His conscience was hurting. However, the feeling of being torn apart by these ghosts was quite painful. All of the ghosts seemed to have gone crazy as they charged towards Ning Shu. Ning Shu was speechless. Big sister is trying to send you off to the afterlife. Why are you biting and scratching me? Ning Shu didn't stop chanting the Rebirth Sutra, nor did he stop drawing talismans. His ears were filled with the sound of ghosts wailing and wolves howling. She couldn't shake them off no matter how hard she tried. Ning Shu's heart did not waver at all. His sister was not afraid at all. The more agitated they were and the more they tried to stop her, the more it proved that his method was effective. And these souls might be real. Ning Shu chanted the Rebirth Sutra faster and faster. Not far away, a black dot the size of a needle appeared. It looked like it was about to become a black hole. Then the whole world began to shake. Ning Shu's heart was in a mess. Was it going to start all over again? Ning Shu's vision fell into darkness. His ears were filled with the horrifying cries of ghosts. It was exceptionally scary. This time, Ning Shu woke up for an especially long time. It seemed that he was pressed down on the bed by ghosts again. His body couldn't move at all. Was he going to be sacrificed again? He was going to fucking see that dog song MO again. It had been a long time since he appeared in front of her. Now, he was going to appear again. Ning Shu was speechless. Ning Shu tried to move his body. There was the sound of water dripping by his ears, drop by drop. Ning Shu's heart skipped a beat. The water dripped onto his face. When it landed on his face, it brought with it a stinging and itchy feeling. Was it blood? Was it the saliva of a ghost? Or was it the feces of a dead ghost in the toilet? Ning Shu struggled to open his eyes. What entered his vision was a strange place. Ning Shu moved his fingers. His body was extremely stiff. His head was groggy. It was as if he had slept for a very long time. Where was he now? Ning Shu calmly accepted the rebooting process. However, his body was really uncomfortable. His mouth was dry. He was so weak that he couldn't even lift his hands. Ning Shu wanted to try to condense a water droplet to drink. Even if he wanted to play, he wanted to keep her alive. Ning Shu was just casually trying. With a thought, a water droplet appeared in front of him. Ning Shu opened his mouth and swallowed the water. He was just trying to see if he could use the law of water. He didn't expect to be able to condense it in front of him. Ning Shu wanted to hammer the ground. What was going on? This world was perfecting itself so quickly? There were rules now. He could use the law now? Ning Shu slowly sat up. His nose was filled with the smell of soil, mixed with the smell of decay. He looked around. It seemed like he was in a tomb. There was a coffin in the middle of the tomb. This coffin was placed very high. He needed to step on steps to reach it. The surroundings were filled with mercury. Ning Shu's face was expressionless. So, he was going to dig up the tomb now? Ning Shu looked around and saw a few people lying on the ground. Some were young and some were old. Shovels, flashlights, ropes, and various other things were scattered on the ground. Ning Shu also saw Song Mo's mutt. He was also lying on the ground as if he was dead. Ning Shu, should he bark or not? Ning Shu reached out and patted Song Mo's face. However, Song Mo didn't respond. Ning Shu sat down and reached out to take Song Mo's pulse. Yes, he was about to die. Ning Shu had mixed feelings about this mutt. Ning Shu condensed some water, pinched Song Mo's chin, and sent the water into Song Mo's mouth. Apart from Song Mo, there were many people lying here. Were they here to dig up the tomb? Ning Shu took their pulses one by one. They seemed to have lost consciousness, like living corpses. Ning Shu fed them some water one by one. As for what happened in the end, he didn't know. He also didn't know if this world was real. Anyway, Ning Shu couldn't figure out if it was real or fake. Ning Shu opened a bag to see if there was anything to eat. If he didn't eat his fill now, who knew what would come out of the tomb? He wouldn't be able to run. There were hardtack biscuits and some water in the bag. Ning Shu quickly tore open the bag and ate something. However, his stomach hurt after eating. Upon thinking of this, Ning Shu wanted to quickly take off his pants to see if he was going to bleed and become a rotten corpse. Ning Shu chewed and swallowed slowly, taking small sips of water while gently kicking Song. Hey, mongrel. Song Mo didn't respond. Ning Shu shrugged his shoulders and put away the biscuits and water. In such a place, life-saving items had to be kept safe. Ning Shu patted the biscuit crumbs and looked around. He picked up the flashlight, shovel, and some trackers on the ground. Yes, this world was so real. Since this was a tomb, would there be zombies or big dumplings? After experiencing one illusion after another, Ning Shu only wanted to say that he could be reborn. Ning Shu sat on the ground to rest. His body seemed to have not moved in a long time. Chapter 1968. His body was aching and sore, moreover he also did not have any strength left. While resting, Ning Shu sized up the entire tomb. This tomb looked very simple, but there were a lot of burial items. There were all kinds of books, gold and silver treasures, as well as all kinds of gorgeous burial items. Ning Shu slowly moved over as he took out a book and looked at it. The handwriting was very abstract, and he felt that it was somewhat familiar. Ning Shu felt that it was somewhat familiar. The general meaning of this book was to introduce the person inside the coffin. It was a woman who was favored by the emperor, and was buried here after she died. Ning Shu. The imperial concubine died and was not buried in the imperial mausoleum? He guessed that it was the woman that the emperor could not get. Ning Shu coughed as he continued to read. There were some places where he could not understand the handwriting. Moreover, Ning Shu also could not understand it. As for the reason why it felt familiar, it should be because the person who commissioned it had studied it. Then one day this peerless beauty died, causing the emperor to be very sad, so he buried his beauty, along with a lot of gold and silver jewelry, a lot of jewelry and clothes. When she was buried, she was even wearing a gold thread robe. Moreover, in order to prevent grave robbers from destroying the beauty's rest, and also to prevent the beauty of the beauty from being seen by the grave robbers, he buried her with the mirage stone. The mirage stone was a kind of magical stone. As long as one approached this stone, even if they did not die, even if they survived, they would still be a madman. No one knew why they would go crazy. Ning Shu raised his eyebrows as his heart thumped heavily. Was it because of this stone, that it would produce endless dreams, again and again causing people to collapse? If they did not die, then they would turn into a madman. Ning Shu felt that he might have encountered something more powerful. Ning Shu swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The mirage stone, the mirage, was a real illusion. So everything that she had experienced before was because of the mirage stone? Then everything that she had experienced before was inside the mirage stone? But it was so real. Did that mean that the mirage stone could also replicate a person's memories? Then was she in reality? Did she break away from the control of the mirage stone? Ning Shu cautiously approached the coffin. Although the bamboo strip stated that there was no mechanism in here, and only a mirage stone was enough to deal with everyone. Ning Shu walked up the steps to the side of the coffin. He looked at the place where the coffin was placed. It was surrounded by layers of bones, indicating that many people had visited this tomb. Ning Shu stepped on the bone, and it shattered with a cracking sound. In the quiet tomb, it seemed a bit abrupt. Ning Shu carefully probed into the coffin. The lid of the coffin was pushed open slightly, and he could vaguely see the situation inside the coffin. Seeing the golden clothes, Ning Shu pushed open the lid of the coffin. He saw a skeleton wearing a gold-threaded robe. His hands were placed on his abdomen. His hands had already turned into bones, and there were gemstone rings on his fingers. Around his neck was a long string of beads. There were so many treasures. If not for the credit of the mirage stone, then these things would have already been snatched away by the grave robbers. Moreover, the corpses would have been scattered everywhere. Ning Shu's eyes stared straight at the stone next to the head of the corpse. This stone was like a pebble, as if it had been polished by water. It was perfectly round. Its appearance was not outstanding, but its surface had a pearl-like luster, and was faintly a bit colorful. At first glance, it looked very ordinary, but looking at it carefully, it was not as good as looking at it from afar. But it was actually tormented by this kind of thing. Ning Shu stretched out his hand wanting to take the mirage stone, but he was afraid that he would once again enter into this kind of illusion. Moreover, there were several people lying on the ground, and among them was the dog Song Mo. Although he did not know what kind of relationship Song Mo had with the person who entrusted him, but he could not act rashly. Moreover, Ning Shu found that this thing could devour a person's memories. As such, the memories of the person who entrusted him with it were basically gone. Those memories that were devoured were used by the mirage stone to evolve into various kinds of illusions. Ning Shu retracted his hand. In case he came into contact with this kind of thing, not only would he fall into it, but he would also completely destroy the unconscious people. How could an average person experience such a terrifying thing? Moreover, it was repeated over and over again. Their spirit would have already collapsed. This is a good thing. Quickly put it away, World Stone. 2333's voice sounded in Ning Shu's mind. It can form a world. It really was a good thing. Using this as a carrier, it can also form a world. 2333 Ning Shu said. Ning Shu was happy in his heart as he bowed towards the coffin, and then took out the shovel to take out the mirage stone. After all, he was afraid that it was poisonous, and once again pulled her into the illusion. He did not want to go through that kind of experience again. The mirage stone did not seem to be harmful. It was just an ordinary stone, but Ning Shu did not dare to be careless. Ning Shu took out a pair of gloves from his bag, and after thinking about it, he put on another pair of gloves. Ning Shu was really afraid of this thing. He really wanted to kneel down and kowtow to this thing, and then reach out his hand to take the mirage stone. It was just an ordinary stone. He estimated that it affected the surrounding magnetic field, and then made the tomb robbers fall into an illusion. Ning Shu guessed that the reason why he came out of the illusion was because the black hole broke the balance of the illusion, that is to say, there were countless illusions inside, and even countless worlds. Song Mo and she appeared in the same illusion? Or was it because of the subconscious of the person who commissioned it, that Song Mo appeared so frequently? Moreover, Song Mo's dark transformation was also deliberately done by the illusion. Ning Shu looked at the stone with an expressionless face. A grain of sand could be a world, so it was also possible for a stone to form a world. 2333 took away the stone, but these people were still immersed in the illusion. At this time, even if there was no stone, these people might still die. When a person had a nightmare, the most effective way was to give them a big slap on the face. With external stimulation, they would definitely wake up. But rashly waking people up, wouldn't the person who was woken up go crazy? That mirage stone was not to be trifled with. It seems that the people who died in the illusion had their souls absorbed by it. So the ghosts that Ning Shu saw were all real. Ning Shu had always thought that it was fake. It was all fake. This world was all fake. Ning Shu walked to Song Mo's side, looking at Song Mo's face covered with dirt. His expression was somewhat painful. Although he did not know what kind of relationship it had with the person who commissioned it, but the person who commissioned it thought of him. Moreover, this guy always appeared. He was the only person who could be ridiculed during those difficult times. Ning Shu condensed a fine needle and slowly poked Song Mo's fingers with the tip of the needle. Moreover, he was poking it into the nails. As the 10 fingers were connected to the heart, it was quite painful. Ning Shu twirled the fine needle and slowly poked it into the nails. Song Mo's fingers moved slightly, his face trembled. It seemed that he was about to wake up, but Ning Shu did not dare to use too much force. Song Mo was in the illusion. If he used too much force, he might go crazy. Chapter 1969. Ning Shu kept provoking Song Mo, but Song Mo did not wake up. He kept struggling, but his soul seemed to be rooted in the illusion. Was it because 2333 put away the stone? Ning Shu said 2333, is it because the stone was taken away, so these people can't wake up? No, the world stone is responsible for creating the illusion. These people can't come out of the illusion, they can only wait for death. 2333 said directly, and then went silent. Apparently he did not care about the life and death of these people. Ning Shu then poked Song Mo's fingers, just like Mama Rong, but Song Mo did not wake up. Although his eyes were moving, his fingers were trembling, but he could not open his eyelids, he could not open his eyes. Song Mo's 10 fingers were poked by Ning Shu, but such pain did not wake Song Mo up. Blood was oozing out of Song Mo's 10 fingers. Ning Shu sat on the ground, helplessly looking at the dog, and then began to poke other people. Of course, he did not poke anyone awake. It seemed that they could not wake up. It was estimated that the plot included the destruction of the client. Even Ning Shu almost could not come out. Again and again he could not distinguish between reality and illusion, because every time it was very real. He was tired of running. Ning Shu sat on the ground, looking at these unconscious people. He found some documents from their bodies. They were archaeologists. They were grave diggers with documents. The client should also be an archaeologist. As for the dream, it was biopharmaceutical, criminal psychology, and hypnosis. It was just a bunch of nonsense. But what if this was also fake? Ning Shu. There was no way to wake up from this torture. Ning Shu flipped through the book to see if there was any record of coming out of the illusion of the mirage stone. He also did not know which emperor did this for the woman in the coffin. Ning Shu was not an archaeologist, so he had no interest in these things. Ning Shu flipped through the bamboo slips. The bamboo slips were very old. He did not know if it was soaked in medicine, but there were very few insect holes on the bamboo slips, but the thread was very decayed, it would break with a touch. Ning Shu carefully flipped through the bamboo slips, but did not find a way to wake up from the illusion. It was estimated that no one knew the way to come out. What should he do now? Ning Shu sat cross-legged to see if he could absorb some spiritual qi. Fortunately, this tomb was safe enough. The mirage stone was a big killer. No one could come out of the illusion of the mirage stone. There was very little spiritual qi. Ning Shu Ning Shu, after cultivating for a while, there was only a trace of spiritual qi in his dantian. Ning Shu transferred this trace of spirit qi into Song Mo's body, repairing his body. To be honest, she was the only one who was to be alive. It was very likely that they would push the blame to her. Although he did not know the identity of these people, but looking at the situation on their documents, they should be relatively famous people in the archaeology world. After injecting some spiritual qi into Song Mo's body, he began to poke at Song Mo's fingers. Song Mo's fingers were covered with blood. The blood that had just stopped was now being poked again by Ning Shu. Song Mo's fingers were slightly moving. Apparently his body was resisting the external body. His fingers wanted to curl up together to avoid injury. He still did not wake up the other person. Would he end up in a vegetative state? "Professor Chen, how are you?" The voice of a walkie-talkie sounded out from inside the tomb. Ning Shu pulled out the walkie-talkie from his body and shouted in panic, "Help, help, there are ghosts here, there are ghosts, don't come over." Finally there is a response, "You did not respond, so I thought that something had happened to you. Let's go down." The walkie-talkie resounded with the voices of the people discussing, and finally hung up the walkie-talkie. Since it was an archaeological team, then it was not just these people. Then Ning Shu waited for these people to come down and rescue him. While waiting, Ning Shu closed the lid of the coffin, pretending that everything had not been opened. She had taken away the mirage stone, and since she had woken up, it was very easy for them to suspect her. Ning Shu also did not touch the things on the bones. It was still intact. In short, it was just in case. Soon some people came down, seeing the person lying on the ground, and then seeing Ning Shu's stupefied look. Ning Shu did not know these people, including the person lying on the ground, other than the dog Song Mo. As for whether Song Mo was called by this name or not, he did not know. The person who came down, Ning Shu, asked, "What happened?" Ning Shu was at a loss. I don't know anything. Where is this place? Who am I? What am I doing?" The people who went down the tomb looked at each other, and quickly helped up the unconscious people on the ground. Seeing so many funerary objects, they all showed an amazed expression. Some people were responsible for helping the unconscious people out of the tomb, but when they came out of the tomb, they unexpectedly stopped breathing. Professor Chen, who was being carried out of the tomb, immediately stopped his heartbeat. Ning Shu's face twisted as he shouted, "Can't go out, can't go out." "Stop, stop." Ning Shu quickly said, "It must be the change in the magnetic field, which directly sent these unconscious people to their fate. In any case, they could not leave like this." Everyone looked at each other, not knowing if they should leave or stay. Ning Shu looked like a crazy devil, pulling people and not letting them go out. Everyone could only put them down. "Anya, you can't do this, you have to let them receive treatment." Professor Chen died because he didn't receive treatment in time. If you delay the others, can you bear the responsibility? Ning Shu hugged his head. Can't leave, there are ghosts here. Once we go out, we will die, can't go out." The others saw that Ning Shu was like a lunatic, and they frowned, not knowing what happened in the tomb. So many people were unconscious, and the only one alive was a fucking lunatic. This tomb was very simple, there was no mechanism at all, and there was no poison either. It was just a simple tomb. How did it become like this? Ning Shu stopped them. "Anyway, you are not allowed to leave, none of you are allowed to leave, there are ghosts here. Once you leave, the ghosts will kill us, ha." Ning Shu's expression was similar to a lunatic's, crying and laughing at the same time. It made people very impatient. "They need treatment now, don't bother about them." Someone restrained the crazy Ning Shu. There is something wrong with Anya's mind now. Ning Shu was speechless. Anya, wasn't it Shimmy? Her identity changed so quickly. He really couldn't tell the difference between reality and illusion. The name was so divisive. "You really can't leave, there are ghosts everywhere, there are ghosts behind you." Ning Shu pointed behind them, his face twisted in fear. Can't go out, can't go out." Chapter 1970. Everyone was scared by the crazy Ning Shu. Ning Shu broke away from these people's control and grabbed Song Mo, not letting them carry Song Mo out. "You can't go out, you really can't go out?" Ning Shu shouted hoarsely. Everyone was annoyed by the unreasonable Ning Shu who pretended to be a ghost. Moreover, this guy's strength was very big, several people were unable to control him. The rescuers simply ignored Ning Shu and carried another person out. Another person was carried out, but his heart stopped and he died. Everyone looked at each other in dismay. It was a coincidence that one person died, but what about the second one? Everyone looked at the crazy Ning Shu, who was curled up into a ball and mumbling, looking like a crazy person. What the hell is going on? A man asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu burst into laughter, his face twitching. He pointed at the man's back. There's a ghost behind you. It's a female ghost in red. She's sucking your essence. It's a beautiful ghost. You must have cheated. You cheated. What nonsense are you talking about? The man who was pointed at by Ning Shu suddenly blushed. Anya, what nonsense are you talking about? When did I cheat? Red dress, beautiful ghost, cheat. Ning Shu kept mumbling and then laughed. Beautiful ghost smiled at me, she said she likes your taste, hee. This man was angered by Ning Shu's words, his face turned red. Of course, Ning Shu's words were based on facts, the red dress beautiful ghost was definitely fake. According to Ning Shu's observation, this person should be wearing a ring on his index finger, but now that he had taken off the ring, there was a color difference in his skin. Moreover, the color difference was not very obvious, which meant that he always took off the ring. If he wanted to hunt for women outside, he would take off the ring on his finger. Then he went home and put on the ring. Moreover, from his facial features, it was clear that he was fated to be in love. A man with a mole in the white of his eyes was born with a strong sense of love. No matter where he went, he would be a powerful generator, and the opposite sex would constantly throw themselves at him. It was easy for him to be unfaithful in love, and he would change his mind at the sight of a stranger, abandoning his wife and children. The dark purplish color around the eyes was generally the reaction of excessive indulgence. Especially the purplish red and swollen eye bags, it was most likely due to kidney deficiency caused by excessive nightlife. Therefore, this man had already cheated on his wife more than once. It was said that a person's heart was unpredictable, but one's face was born from one's heart. From one's face, one could tell a person's temper and even their physical ailments. Although Ning Shu was a dabbler, he still knew some things. Ning Shu pursed his lips. To think that there would be such a person in the archaeological team. It was said that a person with a body of righteous energy would not be invaded by 100 ghosts. If one were to overexert their body, it would be easy for them to be invaded by evil spirits. Although they had to believe in science now, there were some things that had been passed down by their ancestors. They still had to abide by them. Although the archaeological team was reasonable and legal, they were still digging graves. The surrounding people could not help but stay away from this man, especially when there was an invisible ghost in red behind him. It made people feel a chill down their backs. This man also felt that the surrounding people were distancing themselves from him. He was angry and guilty. She's a lunatic. Why should we listen to a lunatic? What we need to do now is to send them to the hospital for treatment. Ning Shu suddenly shouted, we can't go out. There's a ghost on them. There's a ghost. Then don't go out. Wait for the doctor to come over. The others saw that Ning Shu was crazy and seemed to be very serious, so they could only say so. Moreover, the two people who were carried out were already dead, and the one who was not carried out was still alive. Although it was a coincidence, it was better not to act rashly. Ning Shu curled up in a corner and fell asleep. With so many people around, he could finally rest. Ning Shu was sleeping soundly while the others were cleaning up the burial objects and the corpses in the coffins. Anyway, these things were to be taken back for research. Those that should be sealed would be sealed. The police were sent over to check the unconscious people. They checked their pupils and checked their heads. Although they had physiological characteristics, they did not have any consciousness. They were just like vegetative people. They also woke up Ning Shu and checked Ning Shu. They said that Ning Shu was a bit mentally unstable. In short, these people were basically wiped out. The doctor put several people on infusion bottles. Even Ning Shu was injected with needles. Ning Shu was lying on a stretcher and was carried out of the tomb. The others were also carried out. Unexpectedly, no one died. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Anya was just talking nonsense. Ning Shu narrowed his eyes. Ghosts did not know why he was fine. Although he was holding on to his life, but whether or not he could wake up was another matter. Ning Shu had been staying in the hospital ever since he came back. Every day he was in a dazed state. The archaeological institution came to ask Ning Shu if he had taken away the Mirage Stone. After all, the bamboo slips mentioned something about the Mirage Stone. Ning Shu simply ignored them. Of course, he would not say that he had taken it. Moreover, when the person came back, her memory had already been deprived by the Mirage Stone. She did not even remember who she was, let alone who had taken away the Mirage Stone. Even if these people investigated, they would not be able to find out anything, because she simply did not have that thing. After several inquiries, the other people from the archaeological institution gave up. This kind of crazy person did not have any use for them. As for the others, they had been staying in the hospital and had not woken up at all. This thing was really powerful. It could kill people without leaving a trace. They did not know how the emperor had obtained this thing and how he had placed it in the tomb. This thing should have a box. It was estimated that when the imperial concubine was buried, there were many people buried with her. After all, once one got close to this thing, they would be dragged into an illusion. These people who had been trapped in the illusion did not know if they would be able to wake up. Ning Shu would sometimes prick his fingers. Only by constantly stimulating them would they be able to wake up. Singing was too gentle. Perhaps when it reached the ears of these people, it would turn into the wailing of ghosts and howling of wolves, scaring them to death. The person's parents also came to see her. However, Ning Shu was very cold and indifferent. She was still in a daze and did not speak at all. She would either play with her nails or stare at the wall in a daze. She had already done this. Even if the person who had entrusted her came back, her mental state was not good, so it was reasonable for her to not remember anyone. When the person's mother saw Ning Shu acting like this, she immediately covered her mouth and wept. "I told you not to follow other people to learn about history and archaeology. Digging up people's graves is a matter of retribution. You just did not listen. You are a girl, why do you want to learn this kind of thing? Why can't you find a job that would allow you to live peacefully, and then find a man to live peacefully for the rest of your life? What should you do now? What should you do?" Chapter 1971. No matter how much the client's mother nagged, Ning Shu just stared at the wall with an expressionless face, as if he did not hear her at all, and did not respond to the stimulation of the outside world. Ning Shu. This nagging characteristic was similar to the one in the dreamland. In the client's heart, her mother was a person who loved to nag. The Mirage Stone extracted the client's memories, and the woman in the dreamland was almost the same as the client's mother. True and false, false and true, it seemed particularly real. These dreamlands trapped people, and they simply could not get out. Coupled with the terrifying things inside, wanting to get out was basically zero. Ning Shu suspected that those people might not wake up. Their brain tissue was destroyed, their spirit collapsed, and then they died. Moreover, after examining the unconscious people, their brain tissue was abnormally active, but they just could not wake up. There was no energy that could last forever, and energy was not inexhaustible. With such abnormal activity, it damaged the brain, causing the body and spirit to collapse. Even if they wanted to come out, they would not be able to. She seemed to have obtained a very powerful thing. Ning Shu grimaced in pain. The client's mother kept nagging in his ear, and finally the client's father pulled her away. If he did not pull her away, she would have kept crying and nagging in Ning Shu's ear. Mission completed. Do you want to leave the mission world? 2333's voice sounded in Ning Shu's mind. Ning Shu lay down on the bed, closed his eyes and looked like he was about to sleep, and then said in his heart, Leave. Ning Shu's eyes blurred and appeared in the system space. The first thing he saw was a pond, and there were fish and lotus flowers in the pond. Ning Shu stretched out his hand to water it, and then poured the fish that he had bought before into the pond, as well as several pieces of law sea stones, and threw them all into the pond. It seemed that a new creature had entered. The two kinds of fish in the pond unexpectedly fought with each other and jumped in the pond. The space rippled with the fresh smell of lotus flowers, making people feel relaxed and happy, and was also full of spiritual qi. This pond was full of spiritual liquid. In such a superior environment, he hoped that these fish could grow into powerful pets. Ning Shu looked around but did not see any mirage stones as he asked, "Where are the stones?" "Oh, I kept it. The black hole wanted to fuse with him. I was afraid that the black hole would swallow the world stone, so I kept it. Do you want it now?" 2333 explained. Ning Shu said, wait for me to absorb the soul power." Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the sofa and began to absorb the soul force. After absorbing the soul force for a while, he frowned and said, "There's so little soul force this time. The client doesn't have much soul energy left." After all, he has used up most of his soul energy in the illusion, 2333 said. Compared to the world stone, this amount of soul energy is nothing. Ning Shu only responded with an "oh." He opened the attribute panel to see what the mission was. There was no accepted storyline, no mission, and even the name of the person who commissioned it was multiple. Name, Ning Shu. Age, 27 level, Super Mission Taker Points card, 167, 10 million points per card. Soul value, 9 HP, 8 Wisdom, 11 Luck, 12 Charm, 6 Mental Power, 9 Martial Power, 10 Aptitude, 8 Faith, 11458880 Merit, 594750 Soul Strength, 57 Authority Ticket, none Law Comprehended, Water Lop Your Heart, none Items, Calm Aura, Heart Setting Pill, Faith Aura, Amulet 4, Upgraded Amulet plus 2 Honorary Titles, War God Empress, Selfless Ancestor Skills, 5th Ring Shooting Technique, Intermediate Close Combat Technique, Intermediate Martial Arts, Intermediate Poison Technique, Beginner Business Management Knowledge, Beginner Code Programming, Beginner Lawyer Skill, Sage Ghost Catching Skill, Beginner Cooking Skill, Intermediate Embroidery Skill. Aura, Mother of the World, Queen's Blessing, Sister Model Worker, Chinshi's Blessing, Leader Aura, Grass Blessing, Lifelong Friend, Meow Meow Meow's Blessing. Healer of the Dying, Zhu Su Nyang's Blessing, Founding Woman, Chen Ermiai's Blessing, Beauty of the Law, Chen Ning's Blessing, Bane of the Blood Clan, Jasmine's Blessing, Communication Between Races, by San Yang's Blessing, Heart of the Brave, Wang Ying's Blessing. Completed Client Anya's Wish, Escape from Endless Torture Mission Completion Rate, 100%. Received Mission Reward, 10 Point Cards, 10 Attribute Points, 80% Soul Power, 7,000 Faith Power, including previous world's accumulation. It was obviously 80% soul power, but Ning Shu felt that the soul power was very little. Although the proportion was large, the total amount was small. Fortunately, he obtained the world stone from this torture. It was better than nothing. What was more depressing was that he didn't obtain the world's origin. Ning Shu felt that he hadn't obtained the world's origin for a long time, except for two things that he didn't know if they were the world's origin. Whether or not they could be hatched was another matter. Ning Shu let out a long breath. Now, there was a shadow in Ning Shu's heart. She was a fugitive. If she met the judge, she might be killed. Killing her with one shot. This feeling was like having a big knife hanging over her neck. She didn't know when it would fall. It felt very uncomfortable. If the Grand Elder was determined to kill her, she would be a beast that could be slaughtered. Fuck, there was nothing she could resist. She didn't even have a tool to resist. She didn't want to explain. Ning Shu added the attribute points. Name, Ning Shu. Age, 27 level, Super Mission Taker Point card, 167 plus 10, 10 million points for 1 point card. Soul Power, 9 plus 1 Health, 8 plus 1 Wisdom, 11 plus 1 Luck, 12 plus 1 Charm, 6 plus 1 mental power, 9 plus 1 martial power, 10 plus 1 aptitude, 8 plus 1 faith power, 114580 plus 7000 merit, 594750 soul power, 57 plus 3 authority ticket, none law comprehended, water lop your heart, none items, calm aura, heart setting pill, faith aura, amulet 4, upgraded amulet plus 2 honorary title, goddess of war, selfless ancestor skills, 5th ring shooting technique, intermediate close combat technique, intermediate martial arts, intermediate poison technique, beginner business management knowledge, beginner code programming, beginner lawyer skill, sage ghost catching skill, beginner cooking skill, intermediate embroidery skill. Aura, mother of the world, queen's blessing, sister model worker, Chinshi's blessing, leader aura, grass blessing, best friend for life, Meow Meow Meow's blessing. Life-saving hand, Zhu Su Nyang's blessing, founding woman, Chen Ermiai's blessing, beauty-in-law, Chen Ning's blessing, bane of the blood clan, Jasmine's blessing, cross-race communication, Bai Sanyang's blessing, brave heart, Wang Ying's blessing. Chapter 1972. Ning Shu said to 2333, "Give me the world stone. Be careful. If you get close to this thing, you will be sucked into the illusion. Even your soul will be the same." 2333 said. Then, the world stone appeared on the coffee table. With just a flash of merit, Ning Shu found that his system space had become gloomy all of a sudden. The roses and the lotus flowers in the pond had all wilted and withered. The fish in the pond also became hideous. It was as disgusting as it could be. It was as scary as it could be. The illusion appeared again. Ning Shu reached out and grabbed the world stone. The black hole that had been leaning against the wall floated over. It swallowed Ning Shu's arm that was holding the world stone. It broke Ning Shu's arm and swallowed the world stone. Ning Shu looked at his arm. He was speechless. Then he used his soul power to form an arm. The black hole was slowly changing. The entire system space shook. Cracks appeared on the walls. It was such a big scene. 2333 quickly used energy to repair the cracks on the walls. He said to Ning Shu, "The black hole is changing. Now, you need to imprint your consciousness into this world. Hurry." Ning Shu closed his eyes and released his power of the will. He sent his power of the will into the black hole. The changes in the black hole were very shocking. Mountains rose from the ground. The world was expanding infinitely. It was boundless. It was still expanding. But this world was always gray. There were no living things. It was darkness. There was nothing. Ning Shu could faintly see a mountain inside. It looked like Nine Palace Mountain. Ning Shu wanted to imprint his consciousness into the black hole. But he couldn't find a way. It was rejecting him. Extract a bit of soul origin. 2333 said. Soul origin was different from soul power. It was the foundation of the soul. Soul power determined the strength of a soul. Soul origin determined the completeness of a soul. Ning Shu split a bit of golden soul origin from his soul. It floated into the black hole and became one with the black hole. Then, Ning Shu's black hole became a part of his body. He didn't have to worry about the black hole devouring his soul power. Ning Shu was overjoyed. He pointed his finger and a black hole appeared in front of him. Ning Shu walked into the black hole and disappeared from the system space. This space was filled with boundless fog. It was very, very large, as if there were mountains and rivers. The ground was covered with black sand and stones. It was desolate without a trace of life. It carried a gloomy power. Ning Shu stepped on the sand and kept walking. Every place here seemed to be the same and there was no change. A world with nothing. Thinking about it, this thing had swallowed a lot of things. The Soul Pearl and the Master who could summon creatures from any plane had fused together to form a black hole. Finally, it had swallowed some things. As Ning Shu walked, he encountered a few wandering souls. These wandering souls were walking aimlessly, and it was unknown where they were going. Ning Shu thought for a moment. He seemed to have used the soul pearl to absorb the souls. Could it be that these souls were still there? These souls could only rely on their instincts to walk. It was unknown where they were going. Ning Shu squinted his eyes. He was afraid that this world hadn't evolved its laws yet. This was very big. It was so big that Ning Shu couldn't see the end. Strictly speaking, this wasn't a world. At most, it was a space. Ning Shu came out of the black hole. The black hole closed. Only Ning Shu could enter this space. How is it? 2333 Ning Shu asked. It's okay. It's just a big space. There's no water or air. There are a few wandering souls and nothing else. It will probably expand in the future. Ning Shu thought for a moment. He remembered the purple thread-like thing from the world stone. He threw it into the black hole. If there were benefits, he would absorb it. If there weren't, he would just treat it as trash. Although he didn't know what this thing was, Ning Shu seemed to have found a way to dodge it. He hid in the black hole. Ning Shu swayed in front of the judge to see if he could avoid being obliterated. But after thinking about it, he decided against it. He couldn't do something like that. No zwa, no die. If he didn't fulfill his wish, he would die. God was too cruel. If you want to be killed, I can test it. Let's see if you can dodge the virtual killing power. 2333 Ning Shu said. Will I die? Ning Shu squinted. She was afraid of death. It's a simulation. How can I die? I won't die. 2333 said. A powerful force came towards Ning Shu. Ning Shu took a step back and entered the black hole. The black hole closed. Ning Shu disappeared from the virtual space. The force hit the wall like a bullet. A black hole appeared in the air. Ning Shu poked his head out of the black hole. He looked around and said to 2333, Can you dodge it? It's a bit difficult. If you really meet it, you will be killed before you can hide in the black hole. 2333 said, Your chance of dodging it is about 20%. It's less than 50%. Ning Shu, so if he saw that person in the future, he had to run. But 20% was not a small chance. Maybe he could escape. It was better to have hope than no hope. Ning Shu came out of the black hole. In short, he had one more life-saving thing. It was worth celebrating. Should he go and eat? Ning Shu looked at the fish swimming in the pool. He exchanged some fish food from the system and scattered it to the fish. It seemed that the fish didn't care about the food at all. They didn't even touch it. It seemed that little fairy could drink enough spiritual energy water to fill her stomach. Ning Shu patted the residue on his hands. Then, he took out the ultimate martial arts book from the bookshelf. This was the medium for her to build a world where life could live. Only the earth, water, light, and darkness attributes were left. These two attributes were hatching now. Ning Shu hugged the ultimate martial arts book and sat on the sofa. He opened the chat system and sent a message to Mei Ziqing, asking if it had hatched yet. Mei Ziqing was annoyed by Ning Shu's question. No, your message came the moment I came back. Can't you stop for a while? I'm in a hurry. Ning Shu said, How's the hatching now? It's still the same. Nothing has changed. Why don't you take a look? Mei Ziqing said. Ning Shu, I don't dare to wander around now. What if someone finds me in the city of water? Mei Ziqing, I think you're thinking too much. Who would be so free as to wait for you? Don't think too highly of yourself. Mei Ziqing felt that Ning Shu was thinking too much. That's right. Wait for me in the restaurant in the city of water. Bring Xiaohuo with you. I'll treat him to food. Ning Shu also felt that he wasn't important enough to make someone wait for him. There were so many planes and so many mission enforcers. They wouldn't care about a small ant like her. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.